my my promoted listing sales are about 30% of my overall sales.
Wow.
25 to 30%. When I've worked with other sellers that when they use trending in a saturated market, it jumps to 40 to 50%.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video with Teresa Cox. We're in Las Vegas. We got this beautiful view. eBay Open 2019 right here. If you guys aren't here, you're missing out big time. I'll tell you right now. This is, I'm telling you, this is my second year. It's a lot of fun. The networking's unbelievable. You meet amazing people like Teresa. And today we've got a really awesome treat for you because, well, first of all, Teresa, you've been in the game for how many years now? 23 years or so?
I just finished 22 years.
That's cool.
Since July of 97.
Yeah. And so she's a seasoned pro, and you're actually close friends with a lot of high-level people at eBay and a lot of influencers. So, I mean, you have like very specialized knowledge. You're in the trenches. And today we're going to share with you guys a couple really awesome tips that pertain to increasing your sales and boosting your sales. So before we get into it, I do want to say Teresa has a Facebook group that she's a part of with a couple people, which is called...
So I help run the Boss Facebook group, Business for Online Selling Success. And I also am on Instagram at NumbersGeek.
Awesome. So I'll link to that down below. But let's talk about what we were talking about behind the scenes. One of the best ways that people can increase sales. And this is a topic that not a lot of people talk about because I don't think they fully understand how it works. And I'm just so excited. So I'm going to hand the invisible mic off to you and then let you take the show.
Yeah, so the things that I like to do is I am a huge fan of promoted listings. I've been promoting promoted listings for 3 years now.
What is promoted listings?
So promoted listings is one of eBay's products that helps you, it's a marketing tool. It's for advertising. And having come from 30 years in higher ed where I was the budget person, I don't understand marketing. I don't like paying for marketing. It was the one budget line that I hated putting in there because it was a lot of money and I never knew the results of investing in that line item.
Sure.
But what I love and what I've loved about eBay promoted listings from day one is that you don't pay unless it works. And so you promote your items, and if the item sells because somebody clicked on it, then you pay the ad rate.
So a promoted listing is kind of like PPC, pay per click, but you're not paying per click. You're paying it's like PPS, pay per sale.
Pay per sale, yeah, because it's not like pay per click.
Yeah.
So it absolutely is. You can see your clicks and your impressions on your reports, but if you click, so here's an example. I have about 4,200 listings in my store.
4,200?
I have.
She ain't playing around, boys and girls.
And I have, every single one of them is on a promotion.
Every single one's on a promotion?
Every single one. I promote every single item.
Why wouldn't every eBay seller have everything promoted?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense, because it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win. You only pay if it sells. So
but wouldn't that flood the market with wouldn't it cause the rates to go up super high if everybody was doing it?
There's some tricks to that. So if you're using trending rates, I always tell people if you're in a saturated category like clothing. So on my clothing, I typically do trending rates, but I do 1 percentage point below trending. And why is that? Because I'm a numbers person. And if everybody does 1% above trending, then that trending rate just is going to keep going. If everybody does below trending, that trending rate is going to go down. So we're all going to save each other money.
So what does it look like when you go in? Let's just say that we're promoting a Ralph Lauren dress shirt or something like that, men's Ralph Lauren dress shirt. How do you actually create the promoted listing? Are you promoting a keyword? Are you promoting the item in the category? What does it actually look like? What's it feel like? How does that work?
So in eBay, you create campaigns.
Yes.
And you can literally create a campaign, start to scratch, without knowing what you're doing in 2 minutes. So it's quick and easy. But you promote the item. And then what eBay does behind the scenes is, if I'm promoting a red dish pan and you're searching for a car part, my promotion is not going to show up on your thing.
It's not going to link up.
Because it's not related.
Got it.
But if somebody's looking for kitchenware or something red or something related to my red dish pan based on my keywords, then relevant search terms are going to pull it up.
And when you search for something as a consumer on eBay, you've got the little top bar. I know some eBay listings come up through Google search and other search platforms and whatnot, but for the most part, people are probably, when someone goes to buy an item, they're probably going to the eBay search. There's the search bar. They type in red whatever, red Disney, Pixar, truck, and then you see a whole vertical row of listings, correct? So a sponsored ad would put it all the way up at the top. It would say sponsored, I'm assuming, but you'd be at the top, and it's been proven, right, that the higher up you are in search results, the sales actually kind of coincide.
In any online e-commerce thing, search ranking is key, and so you do what you want to do to get that search rank to get up there, and so for me, that works. I promote everything, but here's what I wanted to say is that does that mean that I pay a promoted listing on every sale? No, only about 30% of my sales are because of promotion.
So if it's organic outside of the sponsored ad, then eBay doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
So if you just find my item organically because of the search, I don't pay a promoted listing fee. But if you click on the promoted listing fee and in the next 30 days you buy my item, I pay the promoted fee that I create, the ad rate that I created for that thing when you clicked on it.
So if you sold a $100 Ralph Lauren item, maybe it was a beautiful cashmere sweater, which heads up, some of those things go for upwards of $100. Say you sold it for $100 free shipping. What do you think a sponsored ad fee could be?
So I determine that. So when I create my promoted listing campaign, I say, do I want it to be 3%? Do I want it to be 5%? If I click trending, then eBay will tell me, well, trending in this category is 10.9%.
What do you think trending typically is? Like, what are the ranges?
Sometimes
I have no idea.
Yeah, it can go from 3% up to, I've seen it as high as 11% in some of my categories.
Okay.
So if you're starting and you don't have the margins, start at 1 to 3%.
I'd pay 10 or 11% all day long if it was thrifted items or bulk or liquidation items. If like I had a 50+ sale, like I'd pay 10% all day long.
But so you and I would do that. There's some people that don't have the margins, and if you don't have the margins, I say raise your price. Everybody thinks you can't make a sale if you don't raise your price. So if I promoted that at 3%, I've made a $100 sale and it's cost me $3. I will do that all day long. I was in a session this morning where somebody said that they had an $80,000 month, and I forget, $23,000 of that was from promoted listings.
No way.
And it cost them $800. Wow. Would you pay $800 to get $23,000?
All day long.
So would I.
What have your results been with sponsored ads?
So typically my sales my promoted listing sales are about 30% of my overall sales.
Wow.
25 to 30%. When I've worked with other sellers that when they use trending in a saturated market, it jumps to 40 to 50%.
Yeah, so we created another video before talking about 5 things that every eBay seller needs to know before getting started. I mentioned my friend Vinny, who used to be my ex-employee and now has his own business. He sells toys. He's been doing like $8,800 every 60 days with toys. I wonder if sponsored ads would benefit him.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, it's a no-brainer. You only pay if it works.
So what if I send him this video and he's watching right now, shout out to you, Vinny. Or anyone else who's watching, what do they have to do after watching this video? Say they have 500 listings. How long is it going to take? What do they need to do? They just go in?
So there's a tab on your Seller Hub page, there's a tab for promotions. Okay. You click that, you go down to promoted listings. It'll bring all your listings up. And you can do 500 at a time. There's one way to do 500 at a time.
No way. You could bulk?
You can bulk promote. Ooh. You click at the top one, you promote it. There's a little slide at the top that you can, it defaults to trending rates. You can slide that thing to, I want everything to be at 3% or 5%. But
I feel like trending rates is probably a good beginner way to start because I feel like eBay knows something.
I agree. I totally agree. And I would think that that's right. I started for 2 years, I just did 3 to 5% because it was working. And then it was last Q4, I really started playing with trending rates. And I did see a spike, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So, but if you're a little hesitant, 3 or 5%, you're still going to get promoted.
Okay.
And so you just do that, submit, name your campaign, and literally 2 minutes, you can have 500 listings done.
So I guess really at the end of the day, it depends upon your margins. My friend Vinny, he's buying these toy bags from Savers for $2.99. He gets 10 toys in. each one a lot of times. So he's in it for 15, 20 cents a toy. So his margins are just ridiculous. So for someone who has large margins, clothing sellers, toy sellers, it really depends. It depends on your model and where you're sourcing. I would probably, again, I'm just talking based on what we've been chatting about, but I'd probably just go with the trending rate. But experiment. See,
experiment is the key.
Experiment. Maybe start with a small subsection of your listings and just see what happens.
Yeah, and the other thing that I do when I find that I have the best result is when I couple a promoted listing with a promotion manager. And
what's that? I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Promotion manager is when you take and you put your store on sale, basically.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And so when because I have all my listings on promoted listing all the time, when I run a store, and you don't have to run a 50% off. My best sales are when I run 15% off. I've got a friend where she has her best sales when she does 8%. When I tried 8%, I got no sales.
I feel like you're hacking the algorithm doing that. You've got the sale running, giving you some algorithm juice, and then you got the promoted listings, giving you some algorithm juice. I don't know what algorithm juice is, but I just coined that phrase here live, Teresa Cox.
I don't know what it is either, but I'm sure it's red.
Yes, it's good juice.
And so when you couple Markdown Manager with promoted listings, that's where I find the best result. And it's only 15%. You may have to do 20% for what you're selling. My friend only does 8%, and that works for her.
Do you run sales on all your products at all times in terms of the Markdown Manager sales?
Yeah, I've played around with that. And sometimes at Christmas time, I'll separate out a different category just because I want to do a higher percentage. But because I have so many items, I'm quick and easy. Yeah. So typically I just put my whole store on sale.
Cool.
And then everything's on Markdown Manager, and it just happens. And then I usually run them I usually try to start them on a Friday. I run them until Monday night at midnight for no other reason than at the end of the week I'm like, oh, I should probably do a sale.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So it sounds like you can really track your results with the promoted listings. And obviously with your sales, you can see if something's selling or not. So, there's no ifs and buts, is it working or not? You can actually see what percentage of your sales are coming from the promoted listings and obviously your sales and whatnot. Yeah,
and it's, promoted listings reports have come a long way in 3 years. And one of the awesome things is now you can promote it in the listing flow at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
So you can just promote as you go. And then the other thing is that when it sells, it now has a little banner that says sold by promoted listing.
That's awesome.
So you can see, that promotion worked.
That's cool.
And then, I like the instant feedback.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Well, hey, Teresa, appreciate you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Go out there and take action. Listening passively is great. You're surrounding yourself with good information, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't go out there and apply it. So we're giving you guys some homework sessions. Run some sales. Go check out the promoted listings. And Teresa, where can people follow you?
On Facebook, you can look me up, but I'm on Boss, Business for Online Selling Success, and Instagram under Numbers Geek.
Awesome. So there'll be links below. I'll probably put a little picture on the screen or something as well. So with that being said, keep on picking and making that money, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.
This backpack doesn't look special. It's just red, black, has like a little adventure kind of feel to it then, but no idea it would be worth that much whatsoever.
What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video. I'm here with my main man, Mike Busby.
My guy. What's up, Steve?
In the house, man. You're from Las Vegas, right?
Born and raised in Maryland, but I moved to Vegas about 3 years ago.
Cool. So we're over here at the eBay Open. I got my little badge right here. You're not attending the eBay Open right now, but you live in Vegas, and this guy is amazing. I remember when we connected, what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
At the Green Room event. And he was new. He had amazing, you still do obviously, but your personality was just a shining light, and you were so excited and motivated. And I don't think you were getting much results. I think you were just kind of, you were new.
It was terrible.
Well, you were new.
Wasted money. Terrible.
But he was new and he wasn't getting much results. And now, fast forward, you're a full-time reseller, man.
Yes, sir.
Full-time. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about your story, in a quick little 30-second story before we get into some pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've been reselling for going on 3 years now. I got into this whole game by Gary Vee. like a lot of people have.
Really?
2017 Flip Challenge. I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yeah.
From the Breakfast Club, and I watched this high energy dude just talk about you could go to a garage sale and make $20,000 in a year. I'm like, who is this maniac? and his energy kind of caught my eye. So before I knew it, I typed into YouTube how to resell, and guess who popped up? Steve Raiken.
What's up?
And that was the beginning of going down a deep, dark rabbit hole of resell. And 3 years now, I'm full-time.
And what's crazy, we're here recording this video in Las Vegas, eBay Open at a hotel, which is called
The Mandalay Bay.
And to you, the Mandalay Bay is kind of like the Cracker Barrel to me.
I was like, okay, where's he going?
You're like, where's he going? Because he used to actually work here full-time at the Mandalay Bay. So another video, he's going to be sharing 12 tips to get half off your hotel room.
I could tell you all the secrets about Las Vegas, but yeah, that's a whole new strategy.
So we're gonna have another video coming out soon about how you went full-time and whatnot, but you're a full-time reseller, what, eBay, Amazon?
eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, and a little bit of Go and StockX, but that's like occasionally.
You making more money reselling than you did when you were working at the hotel?
It's getting up there, Taxes suck, but it's still around about maybe 4 or 5K a month.
Okay.
So it's getting there, but not consistently.
But you have your freedom.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming that's probably why you got into it. You wanted to control your time, your schedule.
100%. Control your destiny, man.
And it's an amazing feeling, right? When like, it's different, because I used to work the whole 9-to-5 job, and I don't want to go too deep into this because we'll stay on topic, but it's an amazing feeling when you create your own wealth.
Yes,
or your own income.
It is.
Right?
You almost take care of your money a little more smarter, you know?
For
now
sure.
It's like I work for this money now rather than someone just giving it to me so you don't spend it on as much dumb stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to get into two crazy things right now, two crazy stories. Number one, this guy went to the Goodwill bins and found something for $1.
$1.
That sold for a ridiculous amount of money. We're going to get into that. And then number two, we're going to talk about how you can dominate and make a killing going to the Goodwill bins.
The bins, yes, sir.
Right, so I don't know if you know what the Goodwill bins are. Maybe you could explain to them what that is.
Absolutely. So the bins, or the Goodwill Clearance Center, as people call it, is where all the items that don't get sold at Goodwill go to the clearance center. So everything you see at Goodwill, from the shoes to the electronics to your toys to your clothes, everything that's in the Goodwill, it will all go to this clearance center, and they price everything by the pound. So everything's $1.89 per pound. Then if it's up to 25 pounds, a little bit cheaper. But yeah, you can find a pair of True Religions, some Lululemon, some North Faces for $1 essentially.
Wow, that's cool. So, all right, let's get into the video. You were at the Goodwill bins.
Yes.
And when was this?
This was like last week, actually. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This was like very recent.
So get into the story. I'm done talking because he told me on Instagram, I'm like, dude, you got to come over here and share this.
All right, so just hop into it?
Just dive right in. Don't tease them.
Hop into this, okay. So I've been going to the bins now for probably maybe about 2.5 months. So I'm not like a bins expert whatsoever. But on this particular day, I just came in the other day. When I hustle at the bins, I kind of stayed the whole day, actually. Like, I'm there from like 7 to 4 p.m.
Shut up.
Swear to God. Like,
all day?
Why not, you know? Better than just hustling from
because they're
store to
bringing out
store.
new inventory all the time.
Exactly. So I just started doing that, actually. And I go in, and it's kind of a rough day. I'm finding a little bit of stuff, but nothing too crazy. So at a certain point, I'm just walking through, I see a backpack. Prior to this, I picked up a lot of JanSport backpacks because it's back to school season.
Yeah.
So I'm just picking up backpacks.
Yeah, sure.
JanSport, like it, cool, I'll grab it. And this backpack doesn't look special. It's just red, black, has like a little adventure kind of feel to it then, but no idea it would be worth that much whatsoever. So grab the backpack, put it in my cart. Don't know what it is, but
you don't
whatever.
look it up at that time?
At that time, I did look it up, but there's no sold listings.
Okay, interesting.
0.
So you're like, was there any for sale?
Yes, there were some for sale, but not my exact backpack.
And what were they for sale for?
$30, $40. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if I can get $20 out of this, great.
For $1.89?
Yeah.
It's probably way less, probably like 89 cents. I don't know if it was heavy or light.
Very light backpack. So,
Okay.
yeah, just seeing that backpack, had no idea what it would be.
What was it called?
Clive backpack.
How do you spell Clive?
CLIVE.
Okay, Clive.
Clive backpack.
Huh.
It's we'll get into it in a second, but yeah, it's like a skateboard company that discontinued in about 2005. So they don't make the backpack anymore. So if you see a Clive anything, grab it. There's a huge cult following that looks for this kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. So you find it, you put it in your cart, You don't look it up. Well, you do. You don't see anything, and you just go back to business.
Yeah, just go back to business. I'm just grabbing stuff then. I found some games and whatnot then. But I get back home and I'm like looking for stuff and I'm Googling, trying to find like, what is this backpack?
Thank God you took that extra step and weren't a lazy son of a gun.
Yes, indeed.
You ever been just lazy and you're just like, screw it, I'm just gonna throw it up at like 50 because I don't care. And if
Steve, that's almost what happened, honestly, then. Like, I was like, this is a lot to do. Let's just list it for $40 and call it a day.
So what gave your intuition that hint to keep looking?
Honestly,
is there something odd on it? Something
nothing. It was simply a Google search.
The reselling gods were looking out for you.
They must have been. So thank you, guys, if you're watching right now. I appreciate you. But yeah, someone just told me to type into Google, like Clyde backpack, and that's where it started.
So you type it in, what do you see?
Wanted. I see a wanted ad from this guy that says, straight up, this is exactly what it said. I have been searching 12 years for this backpack. Scroll down below, my exact backpack. I've been looking for it for X number of time. And if anyone finds this backpack, I am ready to pay good money for this. This is in the description.
Shut up.
So I'm just like, wait, what? And I just keep scrolling. I'm like, all right, but here's the kicker though, right? That post was from 2012. So I'm like, all right then, it was from a while ago.
But that's weird that you would see that.
It popped up on the top of the search bar. So I was like, it's interesting, but whatever.
It's at the top because people are probably searching for that or clicking on it. Something's drawing people in.
No clue, but it was from 2012. So I was like, this is just, maybe it's just whatever. So he's probably already found the backpack.
He's been there for like 30 years.
The same bag.
He's been at the bins every day. You go once.
Please, let me find his backpack. But then it got more interesting because I found another post from a different user from April 2019. Similar post saying, I'm looking for this backpack. I'm from Germany. If you find this backpack, here's my email. And he gave the complete.
Special about this backpack?
Guys, honestly, I still don't know, to be honest with you. But yeah, the German guy posted it, exact picture of mine. So I was like, let's shoot him. Let's shoot him an email. See what pops off. So I signed into the.
He responded back to you so fast.
In like 10 seconds, Steve.
No.
Okay, like 5 minutes probably, but still very fast. So he responds back in like 5 minutes and he's like, how much do you want for this backpack? First question off the break. So I was like,
What did you say? You studied Bonafide Hustler long enough. Original Green Room member.
Yes.
I know that you're not going to throw that first number out.
Steve, I'm a seasoned reseller.
I know you, man.
I know better than
know
that,
you.
then. So my first comment was email me, first off then. Like
I saw this, so this is at 40. Would you take 50?
Would you take 50? $40, you got it. That's what he was going to try to do at first. But no, so I said email me and I asked him first, like, how much would you be willing to pay for it?
Wow.
Smart
Smartest
move right there.
negotiation.
Got to. If anyone's watching this, like, as you just said, Steve, I mean, if anyone ever asks you, pretty much the person who gives the price first loses, essentially. So if someone asks you how much do you want to pay for it, you need to throw it right back at
I'm
them.
going to guess that he shoots back like 200 to you or something.
150.
I knew he was going to do that.
Off the break.
I know we're teasing you guys and you probably have no idea. Like,
Tell us how much it's still for.
We're teasing you so bad, but we're building up the context because this is something that's going to happen to you down the road and you need to listen to this
100%.
stuff.
And to speak on that, I mean, as being a reseller, Steve, you know about lowballing, going to garage sales.
Yeah, but you, at this point, Mike, you have no idea that it's going to sell for what you sold it for.
No clue.
So 150 sounds very intriguing.
Yeah, I was ready to
how
go.
much you pay for it?
$1. $1 buckaroo. So I was going to say yes, but...
So what the heck happens? Is part of you like, oh my God, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, pretty much. No, part of me is like, okay, from watching like my Grant Cardone, who was always talking about sales, he's always
10x it, I want 1150. No.
So my immediate response was $750. So I was like, how about $750? And then the dude's like, you're crazy. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for talking to me. Done. Walk away, right? Strong takeaway. That's what Grant Cardone talks about.
He said you're crazy?
He says, you're crazy, that's way too expensive. No, thank you. And I say, okay, thank you. Boom, that was it.
You were ballsy for not knowing what you know.
I was kind of scared.
You crazy son of a gun.
So yeah, he was like, all right, cool. And I left it at that. Didn't respond. 20 minutes later, he responds back to me saying, yes. So
now you know.
Walkaways are big, man. Takeaways are big. Don't be desperate. I was honestly absolutely okay if he didn't buy it. Like, all right, cool, whatever. So yeah, long story short, he responds back saying, can you send me more pictures of the bag then?
Oh, now you're not crazy anymore.
Right.
Oh, what's going on here?
Is it authentic? Is it real? Tell me more about the bag. How'd you get it? So he's asking buying questions now. So I'm like, all right, cool. So long story short, he says $350, final offer, that's it.
He did not say that.
He said $350, and I say yes. I'll take it. I'm down for $350, no problem about it.
Wow.
So he finds me on Facebook, tries to make it more authentic, like is he a real person? When he's real guy, family, Germany, not a scammer. My first thought, honestly. Yeah, so he's going back and forth on Facebook, and prior to this, Steve, I had listed the backpack on eBay before all this for $850. No rhyme, no reason to this whatsoever then. $850 just sounded like a good number in my head. Yeah. So list for $850, like probably before I hit him up, just to see what happens, whatever, because I'm going through my listings now as part of my process. But yeah, we talk on Facebook, and the guy starts BSing a little bit.
Like what?
He's just like, asking a lot of questions, but not putting the money in my PayPal account. So I'm just like, yeah, PayPal me the funds. He's like, tomorrow morning. So he's a little bullish, whatever. So he doesn't end up doing it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. If he sends it, cool. If not, whatever. So long story short, Steve, the next day, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to go back to the bins, and I see my phone say, your backpack has sold for $849 plus shipping. I had to charge shipping on that bad boy.
You had to charge it.
Extra $12.
Wow.
Yes. So it's sold. Oh, I'm missing a huge part actually about this story.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Quick little backtrack. So the backpack is from a show called Smallville. If you watch Smallville, Clark Kent's character carries this backpack that I have on every single episode. So there is a community of Smallville fans in the world who love the show.
Wow.
So in the forum, there was about 3 guys who responded back to me. The guy who posted the original thing tells me specifically, do not sell this backpack to this person. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Because he's like, a lot of people are going to try to find this backpack, Mike. I need you not to sell it to this person. And then he tells me to delete my post off the forum where I asked about, like, you know, does anyone want the backpack?
And who's the person? The guy, the 350 dude?
The 850 dude. So I find out that his arch enemy, his nemesis, don't even know why.
Oh my gosh.
Ended up purchasing the bag from right underneath him. Like he specifically said, do not sell the bag to X person.
Did you have best offer or just?
Yeah, best offer.
He was like, I will die before anyone else gets it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh.
100%. So if he could have sued like $100, I probably would have took it. But yeah, he straight up bought it, $850. The bag was listed for literally less than 10 hours. Yeah, 12 hours.
So what happened to this guy in Germany who you agreed to $350 and then he was like BSing around? Like, did you ever respond back to him?
At first I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it's over, done. And I felt kind of bad.
Did you put it in his face and sold for $850?
I did.
What did he say?
So I don't know, Steve, this might have been bad on my part, but I said, sorry, the bag is sold for $850. If you want to purchase it for $1,500,
you did not say that. I didn't realize this guy was that crazy in real life.
I was like, let's see what happens, right? Maybe he really wants the bag. So yeah, I said, hey, the bag is sold, but I'm willing to cancel the order
for $1,500. Like a
I'm
loan
probably
shark.
a bad person right now for doing this, but whatever. It's resale.
Hey, don't worry, only thousands of people are going to see this.
Whatever, it's what it is. But yeah, so the guy said, no, I'm not going to do it. And he asked me who bought the bag.
Oh, God.
And of course I didn't tell him because...
He's like, just don't sell to this guy.
And it sold to that guy.
Oh, my God.
But to make a disclaimer, because I put this on my Instagram, and people were like, Mike, how could you be so happy with selling the bag to a guy who posted it to his enemy? So to clarify this real fast then, people got in their feelings about this, Steve. It was weird. So the bag was just listed. Anyone could have bought this bag. I could have bought it. Steve could have bought it. My guy could have bought it. Anyone could have bought the bag. It just happened to go to his enemy. Random as hell. But yeah, the bag's over $850,
open
man.
For that stuff, man. That's crazy, man.
Super
You gotta know.
random.
You gotta keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Indeed, man. Indeed. You're also...
So let us know in the comments what you think about that. How can people find this bag? It's like what's it called? It's the Clive.
It's called the Clive backpack. If you go to my YouTube channel at Unique Resells, RESELLS, I have a full video of this, so you can actually see the backpack.
I'm gonna link up a screenshot right here, and I'll link down below to see it.
Please do. So you can see the backpack. I do like a full walkthrough of it. You can see the back, the front, what it looks like. So if you see it out in the wild, you know exactly what to grab.
Cool. Awesome. So I think we got, how much time do we got left, Zach, on this video?
You still got another 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or 15.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So do you want to, now that we talked about the backpack, that's really cool. If you guys enjoyed that story, smash that like button and subscribe to Mike, Unique Resells.
Yes, sir.
I know you had some tips on your phone about the bins. So
Absolutely.
if folks want to go out to the bins and replicate, well, let's be honest, you ain't gonna replicate that. But maybe you'll find something else
It's possible.
that you can sell for 500 to 1,000. If you find that Smallville backpack though,
Yes,
man,
you're
I'll
in
give you
business, man.
$150 for it. You know?
I'll give you $200 for it. Absolutely.
I'll give
Get a little bidding war
I'll give you
going.
300.
$450.
Just don't sell it to him, all right? But yeah, you got some notes, man, that you had jotted down, and they're in regards to what? Tips for the bins?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's dive into it, man. If you want to just share some value.
No problem. So I guess we'll kind of just backtrack really fast to that
Yeah, no
backpack
worries.
then. I mean, if anyone could get any value out of that, it would be definitely to check everything. Like I know a lot of people probably would check sold listings and just be done with the bag. Like it's not on eBay, it's not on
Worth
Amazon.
Point, you check that at all?
What's up?
Worth Point?
Never heard of that. What's that?
Okay, that's a website that, I believe it archives a lot of old sold listings because the sold listings will only show for so long because they're not storing the data because that
Up to 60
takes
days.
more, money to store it in like the hard drives or whatever. I don't know how it all works, like storing data on computers and networks, but they
What's it
only
called?
show it for so long. It's called Worth Point.
Worth Point. Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually met the owner. It's actually, I think it's a publicly traded company now.
Nice.
It's really good. So check out Worth Point.
Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, bro. Worth Point. But yeah, if you don't have Worth Point, like I said, Google stuff, man. You never know what could happen. I mean, have you ever found a wanted ad for an item? If someone looking for a
Not
particular,
certain. I've never found, like in your situation, no.
no, it's really rare, right?
But I probably could have, but there's probably times where I was just lazy, you know?
You gotta be,
That's
man.
crazy, man.
But yeah, I just want to just hit that real fast. Like if you don't see it, Google it. You never know what could happen.
Great tip. Great
No
tip.
problem, man. But yeah, so like I said, I found that bag at the bins, and a lot of folks are kind of like hesitant. Go to the bins. There's like crazy stories behind it. It's dirty. People are crazy there. They're just grabbing, and yeah, it could totally be like that. Not even gonna lie. But I think for a beginner reseller, it's probably the best place you could start at.
Cheap inventory.
Obviously, bro. The cost is nothing. You, like I said earlier, you're paying pretty much $1.89 for a pound. So pair of jeans, I don't know, some True Religion, whatever like that, you would literally get that for $1.89 at the bins, boom. So the first thing with the bins is the course cost. If you're new, like I was, I made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money. If you could just cut all your costs then, instead of like a retail arbitrage, right? Like going to like a Walmart or a Target and making a bad buy that costs you $15, you can make a bad buy here for like $1 and it's not as
So
detrimental.
the risk is lower
Yes,
and the
risk
reward is
low.
higher.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Bonafide Hustler talks a lot about that. You spend 15 to make 20, the risk is up there, but if you spend 2 to make 18, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't
The risk
you can't
versus
lose.
reward.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Great tip right there.
So of course, like cost is the biggest thing, and one thing I like about the bins is that like it gives you a lot of knowledge about a lot of different topics. Then, like I know the big resale areas, like do you go niches or go more wide, more deep, whatever like that, right?
There's so many different items you're going to find at the bins. Now, I don't have a ton of experience at the bins. I have one that's, well, I just moved, so it's probably like 25 minutes away now.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff there. All different types of stuff, from clothing to electronics to sporting items to shoes, ties. There's even books there.
Lots
I just
of books.
hired a book scout recently in my business to go scout books for me. So I sent him over there. I got to check in and see how he did.
Nice. Yeah. You got employees now? Good for you, Steve. Nice.
Not employees, man. There's a big difference between an employee and a 1099 contractor. You don't want an employee because an employee is going to cost you a lot more money.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another video. But if you research it, if you treat them a certain way or you have them do certain things, they're classified as an employee versus a 1099 contractor.
Gotcha.
1099 contractor is like paying all their they're paying all their taxes and like they're claiming it and stuff. An employee, you got to pay like workman's comp and all that stuff.
Yikes, insurance and all that stuff then.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's certain rules you have to follow. This ain't advice. Go do your own research.
Do your own CPA. All right.
Yeah.
Well, congrats about your book out, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Big stuff there. But yeah, bro, like how you're saying, like you see so much stuff. I mean, like you said, backpacks and clothes and jeans and shirts. And I know you start off in clothes in particular, and that was like your gateway into this. And for anyone watching, like I always say, like you don't really know what you like until you try it. Like Gary Vee always talks about just trying everything until you find what sticks. And I feel like the bins is a great place to kind of test a lot of different things. Like maybe you don't like clothes. And instead of spending 3 months just going to Goodwill hustling clothes, now you can get like a firsthand experience of like, all right, maybe that's not for me. And then you might find books or video games.
And everyone's personality is different. Like for you, he's high energy. He's not scared. He goes in.
Yeah.
For someone who's a little more shy and bashful.
Yeah,
and,
you may hate this thing.
you know what I
might
mean?
run
If
you
you're
away.
antisocial, you're rubbing elbows all the time. So you
you're in
tried a
there.
bunch of different things and you found what worked for you in terms of like the sourcing platform. So that's awesome, brother. That's
Absolutely.
great advice right there.
And to piggyback on that then, I mean, yes, you're kind of rubbing elbows, but that goes to my third point, is that the bins that I go to, man, I've learned so much from other people being there. So if you ever go to
So
a
you
bin,
like watch to see what they're buying?
I just talk to them. Like, I'm a social guy, so I'll talk to people and just ask, like, hey, bro, you find anything good today?
Yeah.
Pro tip right there. If anyone is kind of like, you know, in your shell and you don't maybe know what to say to somebody else, like at the bins or wherever, promise you, 100% chance this is gonna work for you.
Like, you catch any fish today? You find anything good?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
People love talking about what they find. They be like, well, actually, I just found a Lululemon shirt. No way. And just kind of go into that, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro, because you're going to find folks who do this full time.
Yeah.
And if you're new to reselling, the best advice I could give is get around other people. And, of course, Instagram and Facebook is good, but there's nothing better than being, like, around, like, actual people. And you can find that at the bins because you're around a lot of resellers.
What's the biggest mistake that beginners need to avoid when going to the bins for the first time?
Mentality, honestly, bro. This might be a huge gem, but you may not find anything for like the first like hour, honestly.
I thought that it was all the junk from all the Goodwills that didn't sell going there. So how are you going to find anything if it's already been sourced through all the pickers?
Well, like before it hits the floor?
Well, think about it. Like you had said before, I know that there's fresh inventory that comes that never hits all the Goodwills, but for the most part, is it mostly trash that's coming in, or are there donations that haven't, say there's 5 Goodwills in the area.
Right.
Are you telling me that all the stuff that lands at the Goodwill outlet is all the stuff that doesn't sell at the 5 around?
So there's like conspiracies and stuff of maybe someone's like taking it and selling it on Goodwill.com, or maybe the employees can grab stuff what they want. No factual information about that. I assume everything comes straight from the Goodwills to here, but of course there's like the conspiracies.
But you'd think though that if an item's been donated to the Goodwill outlet from Goodwill, then it's all junk because it's already been picked through all resellers.
That's exactly what I would think
So how
too.
the heck is that Clive even like making it there?
I honestly, Steve, I couldn't even tell you. I find a lot of like red tag stuff that's there. So a lot of like the $20 stuff, you'll see a Goodwill the J. Crew and True Religion will just be right there.
Because they're not sophisticated enough to realize it doesn't sell. They just dropped the price to $5. They could have got it. And now they freaking liquidate it for $1.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm sure they know, but
and that's the
it's a
thing
lot
about
of
some
work.
of these Goodwills too. Like people are like, they think that these Goodwills and Savers and like thrift stores are so smart. Like to be honest, a lot of them just have really bad business practices.
Yeah.
They really do.
It's a lot of work to like go through all that stuff. So you might find a couple stuff, but you're not gonna find everything.
Yeah. So this video is getting a little long right now. So maybe one final tip that you can give. I know you got a couple notes right there. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, check out his YouTube channel. Last banger of a
Let me give the gem of all gems, Steve.
All right.
You guys ready for this?
Gem them up.
All right. So in all seriousness, with reselling, I feel like a big thing is mentality, right? You can have the abundance mentality or the scarcity mentality. With reselling, the bins especially, then you need to come into this place thinking like I'm gonna come in here and make $1,000 right here. There is $2,000, $3,000 ready to go for me in this store. And have that mentality. Don't think like, oh my God, there's nothing here.
Because you ain't
so
gonna
stupid.
look around the corners and crevices and under and above and go behind and push that extra thing aside because you got the mentality, oh, it's been picked through, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I feel you 100%.
It's coming right here, $1,000 right here, somewhere, boom, right there.
Wow.
That's it, bro.
Because your mind, it will only see what you think. Like, for example, like if you get a brand new Hyundai Sonata or whatever, you never looked at one before, you never see them in the past. And now you're like, why do I see Hyundai Sonatas all over the place?
Because you're thinking about it now,
You're
right?
thinking about it, you got it, so like your thoughts will literally attract.
110%. When you walk into a Benz, you could be walking to 50 grand. You don't know. You don't know what you could find in there.
Yeah.
It could literally be a whole suitcase full of Ralph Lauren polos. Who knows what you could find? Brand new attacks. Anything is possible in the Benz.
crazy.
People throw away the weirdest stuff.
Yeah.
Just come in there positive, optimistic, say hello to everyone, treat their employees with respect because they have a tough job, please believe.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
they
promise
do.
you good vibes and you will find, who knows, a backpack for $850.
Great way, man, to end it. Mike, appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Mike. I'll put a little picture on the screen of his YouTube channel. Subscribe. Check out his Clive Fine video. I'll post it down below. And much respect, brother.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to shoot another video now, so we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Some of the top myths that we believe, or a lot of resellers believe, that aren't necessarily true. And, Jay's going to share some of these. What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video. I am here with the one and only Jay Kraft from the Reseller Roundtable.
Roundup. Reseller
Roundup. Okay, I'm thinking Roundtable, man. Because it's big. It's big like a table, man. It's taken off.
We're trying, man. We're giving it that push.
It's great to have you here. We're here on the 13th floor of the Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. I mean, it's not the 60th floor. We're about to be recording. We're going to be recording a video on Jay's channel, so be sure to check him out. Again, the Reseller Roundup. So there's a lot of information out there, Jay, right? So like, for example, someone watching now who's a new eBay seller in the e-commerce space, Amazon, whatever, but we're talking about pretty much eBay right now. There's so much information out there, and there's a lot of great, amazing content, but there's also mixed in a lot of misinformation. Some of it is just maybe a content creator slips up, or maybe something changes, right, from year to year. So what do you do in that situation? How do you know what's true and what's a myth? And I think that's a great segue kind of into the topic of some of the top myths that we believe, or a lot of resellers believe, that aren't necessarily true. And, you know, Jay's going to share some of these.
Yeah, you know, and I would say the first thing you can do with anyone's content, of course, we'd love it if you watched what we made, but there's a lot of great people out there, like you said, is I would say, are they still making videos today? Because there's a lot of really dated content out there that people are stumbling into, because the videos will be titled, you know, day one eBay, here's where you start.
Yeah.
So I would say make sure your content creator is still making relevant content. And, you know, if you need to, dive into their stores. Ask to see, you know, like, let me see what your listings look like. Let me see what you're doing. Let me get a feel for your actual work, because once people can see that, they can feel a little bit better about taking that information to get.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
Yeah, and as far as myths are concerned, one of the most common ones that I hear is refreshing listings. And I'm not trying to knock any creators in specific who say that type of stuff, but you know, the idea that by somehow removing all of your listings and then placing them back online, or by ending a 1% promoted listing and then immediately restarting your 1% promoted listing, that it's going to have some type of change within either Google's algo, or it's going to have an effect, a direct effect, an immediate effect within Cassini or eBay search, is one of the things that I hear constantly. And I even talk with some of the people on the eBay open floor within the last couple of hours about this, and they say they hear it all the time as well, and that there's just no credence to that idea. And it usually harkens back to either false equivalency, where, you know, you'll think that there's some type of correlation between what you've done, or either pigeon logic, where you know, you'll draw your own conclusions based off that. But, you know, we've done tons of research, and even eBay's gone as far as to do practical tests to verify some of these claims, and it's just not there.
So even like if you had a good till canceled, ending that and then selling similar, that still falls under that?
100%. Yeah. And
I hear that the most often.
Unless you're making an actual change to the listing itself. And I just want to make sure that we're super clear on that. If you have a listing and you end it and you relist it, it's going to index the exact same way. Google's going to say this photo's the exact same, because eBay will have the information on the listing. It'll be valued the same way, pushed out to Google. Google will see it the same, and it won't change the rankings at all. But if you take your existing listing that probably has watchers, probably has bookmarks, has value already, and you add a new picture, or you enhance the title, maybe you've learned about the value in ordering the information on your title, or you change up your description, or you change a handling option, that forces the actual re-review of the listing. But just ending it and doing the same thing again is no change at all. So you won't see value in that. And then as far as promoted is concerned, I just learned this today. They talked about the importance of not just ending it at 1% and then running it again, but consider running 2%. And originally I had asked them, so where's the value in doing that? You know, because we need to be able to tell people, like, anytime we say something, we need to be able to prove why there's value behind it. We can't just say, you know, like, we have belief that this can help. You know, if we have to say a gray, we will, but we try not to. And they said, well, you're going to be competing at a different level at 2%. Certain items are going to be more competitive against all of your other competitors at 1% based on the category they're in.
Interesting.
And I hadn't really thought of that before. So there are other things that you can do that we can prove have a benefit, like adding item specifics. Okay, a lot of people don't understand the value of that, but the way that eBay looks at a listing, the way that Google communicates with eBay for that listing, just adding your item specifics, that's 100 times more valuable than even doing a 15% promoted listing.
Because you're going to be indexed.
You're going to be properly indexed.
Yes.
You know, even getting moved up to when you do your Google search for your item and you see that little shopping carousel where you have your list of items up there, if you have an exceptionally well done listing, you can get that first box within Google search and you're 3 times more likely to sell your item right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of value in doing things correctly.
Wow, that's really cool. So I'm sure you guys are watching right now and you're like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. This is the type of stuff that he has on his channel. Let me ask you a question. What are some myths that you would say pertain to shipping on eBay? Is there anything that comes to mind, myths or maybe even tips or tricks?
One of the biggest things that I see people getting wrong is there's 2 of them. We have the abuse of cubic shipping with the box in a bag functionality. And I'll see people who kind of understand what that means, but they'll take a poly bag and they'll stretch it to the max and they'll fit it in to make their dimensions work, but it's still a violation of USPS
to be honest, I don't really
guidelines.
understand this a lot. So I'd be curious to kind of have your take on it.
The thing with cubic, I guess the most basic way to explain it is you're worried more about the actual size of the item and not so much the weight. And it's a shipping option that's available through USPS, and you can get it for free through Pirate Ship. There's other services like Shippo and other ones out there where you can pay a small premium to be able to get it as well. But it can save you a lot of money. And that's one of the other things, is just having access to the tools and the understanding to say, like, know that you can guarantee save money with that. And then I guess one of the other ones is people breaking guidelines for how USPS materials are meant to be used.
Oh, okay.
I see people doing that all the time. They'll reshape like a flat rate envelope. You'll see those pictures online where they smash them into cubes and then get them to fold over. And you're really not supposed to do that. You can get dinged.
Yeah.
You can get dinged extra cost on that as well.
Let me ask you a question. Is this a myth or not? Say, for example, you have all your packages and you go to drop them off. Is it true or not that if they don't scan your packages by a certain time, that eBay will ding you in your metrics?
100% they will.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 day handling on it,
that's crazy, right?
If you sell something today, I have till tomorrow at midnight to get that scanned in. Wow. And that's even if I sell something as late as 11 p.m. tonight, my handling time will end tomorrow. Generally, I believe it's midnight. Now, certain regions you may see a little bit more variance. So whenever you do take your stuff to the post office, don't just dump it on the counter, okay? Because I've had this happen where I've been in a rush. I'll leave 20 or 40 packages. You've done this.
Comment below if you've done it.
Everyone's done it. You leave them on the counter, and then the next day, you might get an email from somebody saying, hey, did you even ship my item yet? And I'll go through, none of my
So
packages
what did they do
are
at the
scanned
post
in.
office? They just throw it in a box and just...
The morning person gets it. And the person in the morning will wake up and they'll come in there and they'll scan them the next day because maybe you missed the last
You think you're
delivery.
good. You think you did your job. You rushed your butt off to ship it out.
Yeah, and I'm even going to double down too. If you guys are using a postal annex or another
What's
location, well, it's like a place that'll do UPS, FedEx, and USPS.
I don't ever drop things off at there.
People do it all the time.
But is it a good or a bad idea?
Well, here's the thing: people will take them in and they'll scan them, but that's not a real scan. So what eBay's looking for?
No way! I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're looking for what we call an origin scan, which is where it's being scanned at an actual USPS facility. So
That's scary.
They'll scan it there, but they're scanning it for their records. It doesn't get sent outward. So they have the record. Now, UPS is going to be a little different, but USPS, they're scanning for their records. The postman gets them. And that's another thing, too. If you hand them to your postman, he might not scan them until end of day, maybe next day sometimes, because he'll take them to the post, drop them there. So I always say, don't leave your packages until you can see them scanned. And if you have a post person, just ask them nicely. Be like, hey,
that's cool.
Would you mind scanning these? I'll get in trouble with eBay if I don't get these scanned in time.
I like how you worded that.
Yeah.
I'll get in trouble. So you're not blaming them.
Nope, not at all. Yeah.
Interesting.
And you're asking them for a favor. And if you have, now this is another thing I've heard too. People are, my post person hates me. They don't want to help me do what I do. And I tell them, well, be nice to them, butter them up, and explain to them this. They can earn extra vacation days by taking the time to scan your packages for you. It increase their like extra work metrics, and they can earn extra bonus time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you're giving them an opportunity to get more out of their job, and they're helping you. And for me, it saves me a ton of time, ton of gas, ton of effort by having my post person take my packages each day.
So lesson learned, Jay. And for everyone watching, make sure you get your packages scanned. What else comes to your mind when you're thinking about eBay and you're thinking about myths and you're thinking about, wow, I wish that people really knew the truth behind this?
Another good one is when people talk about putting their store on vacation mode.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, you've heard it before, I'm sure. I put my store on vacation mode and items are flying out of here.
Someone just told me that today.
Yeah, it's a lie. And no disrespect to them, because I'm sure I'll see the video. I'm sure it'll come out, but no disrespect to them, but there's just no validity to that. And what I tell people, if you want to test any theory, say, okay, if this truly works, show me your empty eBay store. Because if this method, this tip, this trick makes items fly out the door, you should have 0 items on eBay. Everything should be sold. You should be just moving. You should be doing percentage numbers that are double, triple, quadruple what the average seller is doing daily, consistently, forever. But there's just nothing that works that way other than doing things correctly right off the bat. Quality photos, quality item specifics, quality descriptions that inform your customer and protect yourself, good shipping options. There's so much more that people can do that they're just simply not.
What are your thoughts on putting your store on vacation mode and then like jacking up your shipping time and stuff like that? Is that a good or a bad idea? And what do you do when you go on vacation?
When I go on vacation, I have to adjust my handling time because that's another misconception too. When you put your store on vacation mode, you're only informing your customer that you're going on vacation. You are still responsible to ship your packages. So if somebody buys
it's weird
something,
how it's set up like that.
Yeah, it's essentially an out of office reminder for the people who are buying. It's letting them know, like, hey, you can buy this item, but he's not going to be back for 3, 4, 5 days.
Will your metrics still get dinged?
100%. You are still responsible.
Doesn't make sense why eBay would do that, though.
Well, the idea is if you have a business, which we have a business on eBay, you should have somebody who can be accountable for your absence. Somebody who can manage those packages and take care of customer relations while you're gone.
So the vacation mode is essentially just we're not going to be able to message you back.
We might not be able to message back. We might not be able to facilitate your order right away.
Because a real business doesn't really shut down unless it's a tiny little mom and pop.
Yeah. Have you seen B&H Photo? Sabbath. They do Sabbath or Shabbat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the Jewish holidays, or all the Jewish holidays, they're like closed on.
Every Friday.
You can look at it, but you can't order
You can't even pay for it on the website. They refuse money between like Friday evening and was it Sunday morning at sunrise? Yeah. So Friday at sunset till Sunday at sunrise, they accept no money.
No way.
There's no customer service whatsoever. But outside of those hours, they're probably one of the friendliest businesses to work with.
Really good.
Yeah, they're amazing.
That is crazy. There's so many things out there that you've got to learn. And as a new eBay seller, what you don't know could hurt you.
Yeah.
Could take you down.
Yeah.
Are there any myths that pertain to people always, like in the forums, are always complaining, eBay's hiding my listings. My sales are so slow. They don't like me. Things like this. Is it true that eBay hides listings? Is it true that sales might be slow because the algorithm's doing something to you? Or is that
100%. 100%.
Really?
And usually that's caused by a user error. So that's going to happen when you either have a really poor image, maybe you're priced so inaccurately with the market.
Oh, wow.
So let's say we have these lamps for sale, and let's see these lamps. Everyone has them for $60 a pop. And then here's your listing that looks like you took it in your basement. It's a horrible photo.
So
and
it'll
you're
pick up on that resolution?
Well, what they'll do is eBay will look at the historical traction of that listing. They're going to look at how frequently are people coming there? How much time are they spending on that page? The bounce rate? Are they actually pushing it to their cart? Are they considering making the purchase? And they take all of this information, aggregate it, because at the end of the day, any customer that comes to eBay, they want to make it as seamless as possible. You've come to our site. What are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for this? Hey, here's a bunch of those. Okay, now that you have these, how quickly can we get you checked out before you change your mind? So if we, as a brand, continue to push out items that have historically done nothing for the customer, no one's buying these items, it makes the experience worse for new people coming to the site. So rather than continuing to serve up these really poor items, they'll get moved down in search. And sometimes when you have items that are cross-category, for instance, let's say PlayStation 4 replacement joysticks. Okay, you wouldn't want to see those when you're looking up to buy a brand new PlayStation 4. And eBay understands this, and they'll separate out those listings, and they'll even say it at the top now. We aren't displaying these amount of listings. If you'd like to see them, you can click here. But otherwise, they're giving you somewhat of a curated experience based on you. So if you're a new person to the site, let's say you make a brand new account and you go and look for that, you're going to see different things than what I'm going to see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that eBay is doing moving forward is they want to make sure that each type of customer is getting the experience that they're intended to have, the one that they want on the site. And some people are more concerned about value. We have a lot of female shoppers. They talked about the female millennials coming to the market. They understand that style and colors and things that are within season are of far more interest to the female millennial than price point would be. So you might see when you search for your item a very specific experience, but it's not going to be the same as Susie 20 from Massachusetts. It's going to be completely different.
It's tailored to the individual.
Yeah, and if your listing's really bad, eBay actually has it in their terms of service. They'll pull your listing, and they don't owe you compensation, and they'll take it down, and you'll get an email letting you know that they've removed it. And it'll just basically say it's bad quality.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So I think we got time for maybe 1 or 2 more myths, Jay. Again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Jay, go over there right now, pause the video. All you got to do is tap that subscribe button, because you're putting out, what, a couple videos, 1 to 2 videos a week or every other week or so?
We do our Sunday show each Sunday, and what we do is we start off the show, we spend an hour talking about news, and this can be everything from Etsy's new push to require free shipping, and if you don't have it, your listings are going to be suppressed starting next month, which is like super valuable stuff to know. We'll talk about law changes, like the things that are happening in California for all e-commerce sellers. They're requiring more transparency from Amazon, eBay, even Facebook Marketplace is being affected by these laws. So we'll spend an hour doing that. And then we'll spend a half hour or so doing just practical training. So I might have just done an estate clear out, and I'll talk with people about how you can convert somebody from a yard sale to a position where you can gather all their goods. And then in the last half hour, we'll spend showcasing items. So if you want to know what to look for, what to buy, what I'm paying, what I'm selling, we show it all.
So you're not just sitting back and researching inside your house. You're actually out there reselling. You're running a reselling business as well.
100%. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
that's
every single item that I buy, I show on air before I even list.
Wow.
Yeah. And I feel it's very important to have that full connection. And we have a lot of people that tune in because they just want to hear the stories. They want to hear how I negotiate. And I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah,
just
for
how
sure.
how to close on certain deals. What was the motivation to buy a specific item? You know, you'll see people ask you, I'm sure, how'd you know?
Yeah.
How'd you know to buy that?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And just better explaining that gut feeling that you develop.
I bought it
over
because
time.
Jay told me to buy it.
That's
so
it
that's
right there. And I love it when I hear stories like that. When people are like, I would have never thought that this was worth so much money. And then I saw it on your show, and then I found one the next
Isn't
week.
that crazy? And that's changing people's lives.
That's the whole point.
It's putting
of this.
food on the table for them. It's giving them their freedom.
Mm-hmm. I kid you not. I lose thousands of dollars every month doing this. Every month. And I have for years. The build out for what we've done has been insane, but we've put the priority on making sure that people get good help first. And I started it originally because I was so angry with some of the content that was out there. I just felt it was just very disingenuous. Sometimes it was malicious. Sometimes it was for profit, and even too much for profit. And I understand everything costs money to do.
Yeah.
And I don't knock any creators who want to make money. But if you put yourself in a position where you have the responsibility of educating somebody, you're saying, you know, if you're working with a woman who has kids and you're giving her bad advice, she could lose money. It's going to affect her family. It's going to affect the quality of life. So there's a certain level of responsibility, and that's why I started this.
And a lot of people don't realize it as a content creator. What you say, people listen and they actually take action on it. They go out there. So you got to be careful. Everyone slips up every now and then, but really you want to try to come from a place of helping and adding value and making sure that what you say is legit.
Yeah, we take full accountability for what we say. And I've always said it on air before. If I've given you a piece of advice that's cost you money, tell me and I will pay for it. I will never put myself in a position to where I can hurt somebody's business. I just don't want that on my shoulders.
I respect that, man. That's why I love having you on here.
I really appreciate you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So maybe one more myth. I know there's a lot. If you guys want to check out his channel, you have a whole video.
It's like a half-hour-long video.
That breaks this down. And you motivated me to make this video because a lot of people don't know about you. So I wanted to kind of take a little bit of that and brain dump it on his video, but go see the full video on his channel. But one more, man.
I would say, you know, one of the things that I have heard that kind of goes in line with that is the notion that having negative feedbacks is really okay. I don't know if you've heard this before.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's certain people that'll say, you know, a couple of negative feedbacks aren't a big deal.
Okay.
And I have done extensive research to show that even one negative feedback within the last 30 days can really damage your brand.
Because the way the feedback shows, it shows them all in line.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
like a vertical rows, and you could see it quite clearly, and they're going to click on it. They're not looking at the positives.
Yeah. So I would say I hear people downplay the severity of a negative impact often. And, you know, if you get one, obviously fight tooth and nail to get it removed. I don't know if you heard they announced the new tools that are coming out.
I would love to
for
know.
removal. Oh, it's so amazing.
Really? I haven't heard about that yet.
So we have a dedicated video on my channel I took there was a Devin Wenig and Wendy and what's his name? Mohan. They did a presentation. It was a 3-hour-long presentation. I condensed it down to an hour. And one of the biggest things that they're talking about is the revamp of the Seller Hub, to where now you can see all of your cases and resolutions that need to get done in one spot, sorted by priority, the ones that need to get done first to the ones that you can wait the longest on.
Thank you.
They have a new spot to be able to submit feedback removal request where you can even type in a full explanation as to why.
So we don't have to spend an hour calling?
Yep. You can submit it in, and a new spot where you can see all of your defects in one place.
Yeah.
And be able to challenge and have those removed as well.
That's cool.
Dude, it's huge. I would just say, be responsible with your account. There's a lot of people who will just, just willy-nilly, if problems happen, they happen, but take it seriously. The overall look of your account. I mean, just keep in mind, if the front door of your favorite restaurant looked like absolute trash, you would maybe think twice about walking back in there again. But if it looks beautiful, it looks pristine, it looks clean, it looks the part, then people are going to be more willing to do business.
And unfortunately, I don't know if eBay gives this information. I'm sure they don't, but maybe they do. You don't know how many people are coming to your listing with the intent to buy, and then they bounce because they see that negative feedback.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably no way for you to really know that, but
yeah, no, there's no real way
there's a percentage.
Oh yeah. But with that too, it's difficult to differentiate between how many people are coming there to do price comparison, how many people are coming there to maybe get more information about an item they already have.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some of that
because
as well.
conversion rates are very low for e-commerce. I think Amazon converts at like 7% or something, somewhere around there, I think, which you might think is like horrible, but I think traditional conversion
That's
rates
through the roof. Yeah.
Traditional is what, like 2 to 3% or something like that?
Give or take, it depends on, like, if we're looking at it as a whole, yeah. And that's why I'm so pumped up about this eBay Open, is because they've done so much to reduce the friction to be able to get the consumer from searching for an item to paying for an item. And we're looking at what could be as quick as a 30-second experience for some people. And to be able to do that, you remove that time where you're like, well, do I really need this?
Yeah.
But it's so quick that it's done already. And they're like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that they're listening. I love that they're really treating us with respect this year, and they're taking in all the feedback. And they also they had released that update. You remember in the past, if somebody wanted to return something, they would have the drop-down bar, and the first thing was, what did it say?
It was an INAD or SNAD. Reason
item not
top.
described, shipped, I don't know, all this negative stuff.
Seller's a horrible person.
So now they've switched it. So now all the negative stuff's at the bottom, and
not only is it at the bottom, it's below the fold. You have to click on Show More.
Oh, wow.
Then it'll reveal the other options. And you didn't even hear the best part. This is going to blow your mind. Because I was telling everyone yesterday, it's these little tiny changes that are going to revolutionize eBay over the next year. They've made it so now once you select that option and click Next, and you see whether or not you have to pay the return shipping on that,
no,
you can't
get
go back.
Out of here.
It's locked in. You cannot go back after that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now the consumer is going to have the option, okay, well, I'm stuck paying the return shipping. Do I really want to return it? And if they want to take it up with eBay and they want to make that phone call in, by all means, but eBay's going to tell them the same thing. Be like, you selected this option. What do you want us to do?
It sounds so insignificant, but you want to know what? The average consumer is always going to try to pass the cost onto the small business.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a room erupt with such veracity.
What happened in the, what happened? They just freaked out?
People were standing and applauding because it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
But you have to think about how many hours have you spent on the phone over the last couple of years of your life dealing with BS returns from people, and you just want to run an honest business. And even when you've done absolutely nothing wrong and you're on the phone, rep after rep after rep after rep, trying to fight these returns, now we have actual real tools to slow down the flow of that and maybe even put a stop. And dude, I got the tingles when they said that because it's a game changer. Even myself, I don't know if you guys know, I'm a trainer. We do the whole Patreon. We have a whole bunch of people that we help become better sellers. And I spend so much of my time writing exceptionally well-worded letters for my sellers who have problem customers. And I'll write the letter and then they'll send it out and it gives them seller protection. We talk about TOS within the letters. And this will slow down the flow of that so much. It's freeing up. It'll probably free up 10 hours a week for me.
Yeah.
Just from this little
That
change.
is so cool.
Yeah, I'm so pumped about these changes.
So if you guys are pumped up about these changes, what do they got to do, man?
You gotta subscribe to the channel, guys. You have to do it. And here's the thing, just come try me out, okay? I'm not for everyone. And I know some of the stuff that I talk about, we do get very technical. We'll talk about shareholder calls. We'll talk about, FCC filings, the big stuff that might seem a little bit farther out of the reach than you might need to know, but it all ties back around. And when some of these changes happening and you start seeing extra velocity within your store, it's nice to be able to sit back and say, Jay explained to me why this is working this way. So we try and make it very digestible. It may seem heavy, but you can't watch one of my shows and not walk away
Brother, I'm
something.
so excited that we finally got to meet, man. This is awesome.
We
this
have
is really
to do
cool.
this again.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually going up to his little, I don't know
My
if it's
tiny
gonna be,
room, the real tiny.
Yeah, we got Zach behind the camera doing the videography, and he's so pumped up because he loves just really beautiful scenery and just amazing views and stuff. So
Bring the camera. Yeah, definitely.
We'll get some B-roll and edit into this video. But with that being said, you guys go subscribe to Jay. Check out his reseller roundup, news, training, support. He's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. So with that being said, keep on picking and making that money. Subscribe to his channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
The biggest thing is that I find the disconnect within people that want to go full time, and even people that are already full time, is their finances. They don't understand how much they owe currently for their regular bills, separating that with their business. It's really important to understand your finances.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video, and I'm here with Clara, Amanda, and Wade of Wade Ventures. And Clara and Amanda, you guys are from
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona, and
Originally Argentina.
oh, Argentina, awesome. And Wade, man, great to have you here. You're from
Portland, Oregon, guys, right now, but I'm pretty much everywhere. California, you name it. But yeah,
cool. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick, maybe 30 seconds, who you are, what you do, and then we're going to kind of do something a little different. I'm going to throw out maybe like 5 questions that I feel like pretty much every eBay seller is kind of struggling with at one point or another, something that could benefit you guys. So Wade, do you kind of want to start off?
absolutely. So you can find me at Wade's Ventures, crazy YouTube. I love everybody. Raiken, it's been amazing. I was on your channel last year, and so much love, so appreciate that. But yeah, Wade's Ventures, I am a full-time eBay seller. I do Poshmark. I also do a little Amazon as well, and it's been crazy cool. I can spend more time with the family. So glad that I left corporate 10 years ago, or a year ago out of a 10-year corporate job. So it's been incredible.
Yeah, check out his channel. Your channel's grown rapidly since the last time we were here. We're at the eBay Open in Las Vegas. We'll probably pan some B-roll. We've got a pretty amazing view of the strip, the MGM Grand over there. But yeah, his channel's been crazy. If you guys are into storage lockers, auctions, stuff like that, like I get like stuck on your channel for hours at times. I'm like, crap, I had so much work to do.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. We're glad to have you here. And Amanda?
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm one half of List Perfectly. We have been working on our platform for 4 years in stealth mode. And the reason is because we created the first cross-lister for Poshmark, Mercari, and Etsy.
Finally.
Yeah, and eBay, of course, and as Wade pointed out, I'm a corporate dropout too. I started out on eBay 15 years ago just selling stuff I had around the house. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it opened up a whole new life for me, a whole new lifestyle. So it's been my mission to try to create something that would be helpful for sellers. And so now we just launched List Perfectly. We'd love for you to come and check us out.
Yeah, we're going to definitely have another video dedicated to it because Wade and I, before the video, we were starting to ask questions. I'm like, wait, stop. Like, let's make a dedicated video because people have been asking for the longest time. I want to cross promote. I want to cross list. I'm sick of having to manage it all. So that's going to be a cool video. But 15-year eBay seller right here. You've been on eBay for...
I've been 6 years now.
6 years. I've been six or 7 years, 5 or I don't know, somewhere around there.
10 years.
10 years. So between all of us, we've got like 30 plus years
Yes.
experience.
Wow.
So a little bit about yourself real quick. You're with List Perfectly as well.
That's right.
Love the
And
name.
Thank you. And yeah, my name is Clara, and I've been selling. I'm a part-time seller with eBay, with the Clothing Vault, and for 10 years as well with Amanda, a business that we started together. And then out of love and trying to make more sales, we created for everybody List Perfectly, which helps online sellers to describe their products better and in that way create reach.
So let's dive right into it. I'm going to throw out a question to you guys, and maybe we'll just go one by one. Number one question I have, and this is what a lot of people ask, and I'm sure it'll be different. So let's keep it to like maybe a 15 or 20-second response. Try to go like blaze through these. Best product for a beginner to sell on eBay. I know it's a very broad, kind of a horrible question, but people always ask. So let's start with you. If you could go back in time and only sell one product as a beginner, what would you choose?
It really depends. You gotta follow your passion. Some people are gonna follow the profit. I would say follow your passion because that will bring, biggest margins and bigger profits.
Yeah, because if you start selling something you don't enjoy, eventually at first you're going to burn out, and you've got to get to the point where you're starting to make some money and make some sales, and it takes hard work.
Yeah, you gotta be passionate about what you sell.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I started with clothing because I loved it. I just loved trying things on. I love like being able to find a Ralph Lauren polo for $3 and flip it and try it on and sell it. So that's cool. What are your thoughts, Amanda?
Well, I completely agree with Clara, and but beyond that, the best way is just to sell stuff that you have around the house that you think has value, and just see what happens, because what's it going to cost you? Time. That's about it.
Huge tip right here, guys. So if you're new, start with what's in the house, but more importantly, you know what you bought, so you're already kind of an expert in what you have at the house. So sell your excess stuff at the house and make a little money, get your feet wet, and then move on from there.
Here's a question I have. All right. So many people, they want to start an eBay business. Like, have you guys ever had friends or family members who kind of look at you and say, well, I could do what you did if I had the time.
Yes.
What do you say to somebody who's watching right now who they say, I would do what Clara's doing or Wade or Amanda's doing, but I don't have the time. I work a full-time job. Maybe Amanda, you can start with your response on that.
Yeah, you got to start slow. It's like any milestone you want to achieve. You just one little piece at a time. And honestly, start with these videos. These videos are awesome content. Just start by watching and picking up tips along the way. And
well, the first step you're probably already doing because you're watching Steve's channel, and he's had so many crazy good people on his channel to learn from. But more importantly, there should be no excuse that you don't have time. I'd say this all the time, like, go through your daily and kind of figure out, okay, what is making you money and what you can cut out to make more time. So for me, I watch a lot less videos. I watch a lot less TV shows. You got to like trim the fat, if you will, and find out what you can save time on, and so that way you can incorporate something actually potentially can be huge for you, which is selling online.
Awesome. Claire, what are your thoughts?
It's just make it a hobby. It starts like a hobby, and then see if you can take it as a part-time, and then see where it goes from there, if it grows. Just do what it fits you, what feels comfortable.
Yeah, that's good advice, because a lot of times people want to get onto eBay and they want to quit their job instantly.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
I had a woman that I had met up with. I'm not going to call her out, but she was great. She was amazing. But I give people credit because they're passionate, they're excited, they want to quit. That's step one. A lot of people don't even have that drive to want to quit. So I give anyone who wants to quit, like, I'm all about it.
Yep.
But you got to be methodical, like strategic about it. I had a woman who came to one of my Connecticut thrifting meetups, and she wanted to quit her job to be a full-time Amazon seller, and she was broke, and she was saying, well, in the next month, I'm going to make enough money on Amazon to pay my mortgage. And I'm thinking to myself, it takes time. How long does it really take, Wade, if you had to say, in your opinion, to get it to the point where you could really support yourself? And it's going to depend upon your bills and expenses,
Yeah, the biggest thing is that I find the disconnect within people that want to go full time, and even people that are already full time, is their finances. They don't understand how much they owe currently for their regular bills, separating that with their business. It's really important to understand your finances. I could have left my corporate job a year earlier. I left last April. I could have left a year earlier. However, I didn't. I kept on working really hard at both to save capital and, more importantly, pay down debt. So that way, when I did go full time, I wasn't drowning. I find that that's the biggest issue with a lot of people that want to jump into full time, is they're already in debt, and then on top of that, you're doing a new venture that is new. So it's a whole nother beast when you go full time. You don't have a guaranteed paycheck.
No.
You know, that's
Yeah,
one thing.
that's
You're
right.
you're playing in other people's sandbox. So make sure you understand your finances.
And to add, I would like to add that most people don't have in mind that they will be, sometimes you have to have a contingency plan.
Yes.
And that's very important when you're
Give an
thinking,
example of maybe a contingency plan that somebody could have.
Have like a reserve, some padding,
Oh.
for rainy days, so you have to have
Because that big return's going to come through, that
Yes.
negative feedback's going to come
Yes.
through. You're going to, I don't know, have you ever gone to a thrift store, Amanda, and bought a whole bunch of clothes or items, and you were like, I got this jackpot item, you bring it back, and it's got like a huge tear down the back of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what was
Been there, done that.
Your emotions just get in the way.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's the other thing, with experience, you
Yes.
really want to start slowly, get experience before you make these drastic jumps. And because you're not going to understand every aspect about this business until you get in it and you do it.
Huge tip.
Now, one of the things I hear most often, do you guys hang out in like the Facebook forums at all or the Facebook groups?
Yes.
I see it every single day. And it's a couple words. It's like 3 or 4 words. My sales are slow.
Yeah.
What do I do? What are your thoughts? Is slow sales a real thing? Seasonality, is that a real thing when it comes to eBay? For the people watching, because you always hear, my sales are slow. What do I do? eBay's hiding my items, the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. So like, what are your honest thoughts?
Well, here's the thing is that I found that it can help. This is something that won't help right away, but it's really important for me that I always buy a season ahead because I feel like that's a big issue with people that say they have slow sales. They didn't prepare for the season that they're currently in. So for example, summertime, you want to have summer stuff being listed constantly, right? And when do you get summer stuff? Highly discounted during the winter. So all these big corporate, big box, locations like you see, Ross is growing like crazy. Marshall's, they're putting new locations even in London right now. Outside the United States, they're growing because they have discounted, really, really affordable stuff. But more importantly, they think a season ahead, so they're gonna have a lot of merchandise out there. And then they're already, when it's summer, they're already, they're in the thick of summer, but they're actually thinking of winter at that point. And that's kind of the mindset of eBay sellers. You've got to be a season ahead, and then once you're doing that, you're listing what people want during the time that you're in. So
yeah, and one thing, Clara, maybe you could touch on this.
Yeah.
There's a strong correlation between how much effort you put in terms of listing versus your results. How many times have we complained about slow sales, but then we think back, we're getting a little complacent, we're relaxing.
Yes.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, just to answer that, part of our software that we built is we're very description forward sellers. We believe in the power of creating a professional description.
What is a professional description?
It's a very concise description that's laid out in a scannable format, gives the buyer the information they need. So when they get the package and they open it up, it's exactly what they expect. And, we find a lot of sellers either they rely too much on the item specifics. Item specifics are great and you should fill them out, but you also want to paint a picture for your buyer of the experience that they're going to have with the item. Tell a story if you can, whatever you can do. And so, that's where we believe in that.
I'd like to ask you something, Wade, to jump in. I always thought item specifics were more or less they're descriptive, but I always thought they were good for like the algorithm, like to pick up the details of it. Is that correct that the item specifics are more geared towards our algorithm and descriptions more geared towards like the buyer experience? Or I don't know. That's always my thought process.
Great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Honestly, I do think that you want to use the drop downs as much as you possibly can, and you can even add your own information down there to kind of pull that. I don't know. I think that it's really important for the description to be. There's a balance that you need to have. Time, and you want to be really descriptive for your buyer. And that helps with many reasons. One, you may get quicker sales because they feel that you spent time on that listing. Probably helps your return rate, and it also probably helps the overall experience, which then is feedback, and it all kind of is this conglomerate that you got to look after. So, I think it's really important to put as much as you can in the description, but also understand that you need to balance time and get as many listings as you can out there that are quality.
So, last question. We're going to go one by one here. I'll jump in as well. But to end this video, one piece of advice that you would give to the people who are watching right now, it could be related to listing or shipping or sourcing or accounting, taxes, if you want to get crazy on this video. One piece of advice that we could leave everybody off with.
Listen to your customer. Customers will tell you exactly what they need, how they want it, and how fast they want it.
Awesome.
Crucial.
I'm gonna jump in and say, be patient. It's gonna take time. Start setting small goals. I used to fall into the trap of I would start a business. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, I want to make $10,000 a month because I'm watching all these Facebook ads and stuff, and like these YouTubers who have been in the game for 10 years. So everyone starts at square one. Everybody makes their first dollar, their first $100, and then they go backwards and then they figure it out. So
Huge.
I would say, price your items fairly, but don't undercut yourself. Because a lot of sellers will just keep dropping the price, and actually that can be counterproductive. You can actually cut your price so low that people think, "Ooh, there must be something wrong with that item." So just keep in mind.
This is why I love Raiken's channel. Being patient is huge. This is a tip that I hope everybody understands and takes home with you when you're watching this: is get good at the stuff that you hate doing. I think that's huge because what happens is when we all know what we're good at, right? Yes. And it's great to improve in that regard. But really, I think you're going to find the biggest increase in your business is when you actually get good stuff that you do not like doing, because coherently, you're not going to really educate yourself as much in stuff that you don't like doing. You won't put as much effort into it. And I think once you kind of shear that up, your business will do a lot better. So get good at the stuff that you hate doing, which is easier said than done.
Awesome. And I want you guys to do some homework. I want you all who are watching to leave a comment down below and share with everyone in the community one tip that you believe can benefit a new seller or even intermediate or advanced, something that you've learned. So with that being said, make sure to subscribe to Wade Ventures on YouTube, Instagram. Where else can they find you?
Oh, man, just those two. I can't handle anymore. But I appreciate it, Raiken.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years in a row now.
Dude, it's awesome,
I can't wait. Guys, go to eBay Open next year and meet with this guy. He's amazing.
Awesome.
Seriously.
And then we also have Clara and Amanda of List Perfectly, which, to be 100% transparent, I don't know much about it, but I'm going to learn more, and we're going to shoot a video after this talking about it. So if you guys are interested in boosting your sales by cross-promoting, because why wouldn't you? The more eyeballs you have on your products, the more sales you're going to make. So that's cool. If you guys are interested in that video, just put List Perfectly down in the comments, and maybe we could even get them back for some more videos. But where can I follow you guys?
Well, we're on YouTube, List Perfectly. We have a channel. We have Instagram and Facebook. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
What about MySpace?
Of course, our website. Oh my God. Is that even in business?
I saw my MySpace.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Who has MySpace? Let me know in the comments. But with that being said, keep on picking and making that money, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I already had the wholesale accounts because I already had the brick and mortar. And so I just started buying these heavily discounted, larger lots of 2018, 2017, 2016 dead stock related product.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video here in Las Vegas. And I am joined with my friend Elijah, who actually came up to me when I was downstairs going to meet up with someone to get another interview going down. He's like, Steve, Raiken Profit. I'm like, what's up? And I saw the first thing that attracted me to Elijah is I'm like, hold on one second. Is that a Pendleton? That's a Pendleton, 100% wool, pearl snap long sleeve shirt. And I can tell you right now, man.
This is $50, $60, $80 on eBay.
All
if you find these
long.
in Bolo, like look out. Pearl snap, US made Pendletons are good money, always.
So eBay has something that's called the Shine Awards, and I'll have Elijah talk a little bit about it in a second, but this is a big deal, and you actually won second place in the Shine Awards this year, so congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So do you mind sharing with everybody a little bit about who you are, your story, your business, what you do, and then maybe you can talk a little bit about the Shine Awards.
Absolutely. So yeah, my name is Elijah McCloskey. I run Freewheel Community Bicycle Collective, freewheel_bikes_Madison on eBay. We sell specialty bike products, vintage bikes, new bike dead stock, bike parts and accessories, some new frames, project bikes, stuff like that. We do pretty good. We're a medium-sized store. We have a brick and mortar location. We're adding another brick and mortar location in the fall. And then we do significant charity work. So we've given away over 13,000 bikes in the last 16 years.
You've given away 13,000 bikes, like 100% free.
Yep, in the last 16 years, over 1,500 2019 alone. And we also teach free classes and we teach free classes to 7,000 students and diverted over 1,000 tons of waste from the landfill.
Wow, and what were your sales in 2018 or 2019?
So we've actually had, I can't plug eBay Open enough. Like, this sort of connection is a great example of it. You'll meet so many amazing people, and you'll learn so much stuff from them. I met a great guy, Prince Patel, and I talked to him last year, and he really gave me the idea and the courage to be able to get into selling dead stock, buying from wholesalers, buying big dead lots and things like that. And so I was able to take my sales from last year, about $7,000 a month, up this year to $45,000 a month.
Wow, $45,000 a month.
And I was
eBay.
just selling, before I was just selling, frames for $100, $200, $300, complete bikes for $500 or $1,000. That's really lumpy cash flow. And I talked to him and I talked to some other people, and I already had the wholesale accounts because I already had the brick and mortar. And so I just started buying these heavily discounted, larger lots of 2018, 2017, 2016 dead stock related product. Locks, tires, specialty axles, things like that, I could sort of upsell to my core customers, and it related to the product that I already had. And that's a really great tip. Like, if you're selling high dollar collectible specialty things and you can get large quantity, new, heavily discounted dead stock of related product, that's great. Because if you've got 400 units of a $4 item with free shipping that you make 30 cents on,
right,
you're gonna be selling 2, 3, 4 of them a day. Sales brings sales. If you have sales on your store, it boosts the visibility for all of your stuff. And so for me right now, I have items from like $4 to $200 new, multi-quantity. I have frames and used parts in the $100 to $1,000 range, used, plus shipping. And then I have complete bicycles from $200 to $4,000 plus shipping. And so by having these like little items, you get this constant flow of sales, which boosts your big items visibility.
You probably get a lot more traffic as well on those low-end items.
And then it's also a good chance for upsell, where you sell somebody a $1,000 bike, maybe they need a lock for $30. Something like that. And because you're bundling the shipping, the margin on that lock is going to be really good.
How do you upsell on eBay?
So follow-up emails, I use 3D Sellers. There's a lot of different programs to do it. You can manually do it through the legacy feedback profile.
Okay.
That's a great tip. If you are a smaller seller, use the legacy feedback profile. It's the old one where there's a stack of like 50 purchases and sales, and it'll show whether or not you've left them feedback, they've left you feedback. You can click through to the user's account, and then you can send them a message, and you're not gated per day because you have a transaction. So you can mass message 50 people, or you can use a third-party service like 3D Sellers.
3D Sellers.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other ones out there. That's just the one that I've used. It's great. If you're doing 20K a month, it's like $800 a year.
So is it similar to like a autoresponder, like ConvertKit or Aweber or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're getting bigger, like those sorts of things, it's got a bunch of other stuff integrated into it too. There's a lot of really great tools out there. But in this specific case, it's going to be the auto reminder for feedback. And in there, you say a coupon. You're like, mention this, take 10% off your next order. Mention this, take 15% off your next order. I just got this hot new item in. It's really great. MSRP is $79.99. Special price for you, $20 each, 2 minimum. Here's the link, make an offer.
And you know what they say about acquiring customers versus making more sales? It's always the hardest to acquire a customer. It's the most expensive, it's the hardest thing to do. But it's actually extremely easy to sell to a customer who's already purchased from you, considering that you provided a good experience.
You should always be doing follow-up emails with your customer.
Can you see analytics? Sorry to interrupt you. Can you see the analytics in terms of, are the emails actually producing revenue?
Oh, yeah. They're bumping up the watches, they're bumping up views, and I see a lot of repeat customers. An extreme example, a guy in Japan bought a bike for $400 plus $400 shipping, USA-made Trek collectible item from me. Follow-up email, and then I put my cell phone number in there. He called me from foreign, like he was using Skype or something, and he was really, really happy, ecstatic with it. And he's like, do you have any more? Do you have any more? So over the course of 3 months, I sold this guy $4,000 of bicycles.
Thank God you had that follow-up email.
Absolutely.
Because there's a chance that he never would have messaged you.
Absolutely, and there's, especially with collectors and enthusiasts, when you are, and I tell people this all the time, become an expert, have a niche. Get really good at a category. Get really good at a subcategory. Really know your stuff. Know the years it was made. Know, be able to accurately describe it really, really well. Because enthusiasts, they kind of know it, and they can tell if you're bullshitting or not. They can tell if you know your shit or not, and if you do, they are going to have a lot of confidence in you. And collectors are generally willing to spend a lot of money per year on the same sort of thing over and over and over again. And this can be everything from like on the low end, like mugs, to the high end, like art or 40s car parts or whatever. But if you find that niche that you're passionate about, you become an expert in over the course of 5-10 years, product just comes to you. Sourcing is easy. I have 3,000 bikes. I only have 1,000 listings. The bottleneck is getting it up for me. And it just comes to me. I don't go out and source anymore. And the opportunities for upsells and the opportunities for customer retention are going to be huge when you're a specialist in an area and you really know your product.
Nobody talks about this stuff, especially upsells and email marketing for eBay. Nobody on YouTube. And I think you guys on YouTube, comment below, say nobody taught us this. I've never heard about anybody. I've heard about it because I do a lot of internet marketing, affiliate marketing as well. So I understand upselling and all of that. And especially like with Shopify stores, it's easy to kind of incorporate all together, but that's huge. That's a really big tip. What advice would you give to the people right now who are watching and they're saying, wow, it's amazing how you went from 7,000 to 45,000. I was gonna say 35, but I'm like, it was a little higher. He's doing wholesale accounts. I'm spending all my time sourcing thrift stores, garage sales. It's so hard because I'm working a job and I'm going out and I'm not able to find enough stuff. What advice would you give?
So wholesale is mostly about relationships. If you want to go from a $100,000 a year company to a $500,000 a year company, you're going to need to hire people. Packing and listing are huge. If you can get other people to do it, like look at the value flow.
Do you have people on your team?
Yeah, we have 8 employees because we have a brick and mortar location. We have extensive charitable operations. So you got to hire some people to do the lower skilled parts of your job because it frees you up more time describing, relationship building, providing amazing customer service, stuff like that. And also consider getting a brick and mortar, not a nice brick and mortar, not in a good part of town, not open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Okay.
But in an affordable part of town, a small store, or perhaps it's attached to your fulfillment center or warehouse, open 1, 2, 3 days a week, plus appointments, because many wholesalers will not work with you if you don't have a brick and mortar. And it's not so much that they have a problem with online sellers, it's that a brick and mortar helps build professionalism. Okay. It also really helps with building customer confidence in specialty goods. And an extreme example, I wanted a Athenian tetradrachma. It's a 2,500-year-old coin. It's the first international currency in the sense that it was accepted at face value as 1 ounce of pure silver in all countries in the Mediterranean, even though it was 0.5 ounces of pure silver, because everybody knew that you could always use it in Athens, which was a trading hub. So for me, this is a very interesting piece of commerce. Well, it's a multi-hundred, multi-thousand-dollar item, and there's a lot of fakes. And I ended up buying one for more than what other sellers had from a store that had been running an antique business for 140 years and was in its 4th generation.
Trust.
And it had been on eBay just for 5 years, but they had great feedback. They had a website. It was clear that it existed for a long time. And I paid a little bit more than from some other sellers.
That's worth it though.
And when you can, especially with specialty goods, have that retail and help build trust, it helps a lot. And from a cost-effective standpoint, you could probably find a place that's pretty affordable where you can integrate your warehouse and fulfillment and have limited brick and mortar retail. And then that'll qualify you for a lot of these specialty wholesale accounts that otherwise won't work with you.
Interesting. Yeah. So you've been selling on eBay for how many years now?
8 years.
If you could go back in time, Elijah, 6, 7, 8 years ago, with the knowledge you now have, what is maybe 1 or 2 things that you would do differently that you could share with the viewers?
Don't hire your friends.
Don't hire your friends.
Don't hire your friends. Pay your employees well. Pay them above living wage for the area that they live and expect good work out of them, and let them go if they don't deliver it. Cast a wide net in terms of finding your employees. Don't pay people $8 an hour to pack. Pay them $15 an hour to pack.
Interesting.
Because your time is worth way more than $15, and dealing with churn is expensive. You want to find good people who are efficient and fast at doing that and have the motivation to do it. And I say 15 with living wage in my area being $12.33. So it's gonna be a little higher in San Francisco, it's gonna be a little lower in Iowa, obviously. But pay your people well, but make sure they're worth it. And this is kind of the Costco model. Costco employees get paid really well, but they have high average labor productivity compared to other grocery store chains.
Interesting.
And then take better care of yourself. A lot of people are always like, it's 2 a.m., why aren't you listing? Which I think is crazy. Like, sleep 8 hours a day, you know, go to the gym, meditate, go for a bike ride, whatever. Take care, drink some coffee in the morning, have some breakfast in the morning, take care of yourself first so that you can take care of the customers best.
Wow.
And you can
That's
probably do
beautiful.
it. You know, you can probably just push yourself 80, 90, 100 hours a week for like a year or two, but it catches up. And it, in little ways, like you start going off on customers when they are trying to return something. And yeah, they're wrong, but like also you don't need to be going off on customers. You know, you start going on tilt and different things like that, or you make bad sourcing decisions, or you know, make an error in pricing something, or all these sorts of things. So take care of yourself. And I'm not saying don't work 60 hours a week, but recognize what you need in order to regenerate, and recognize what you need in order to connect with your family, and you know, recognize what you need to do in order to be able to provide amazing customer service year after year after year.
That's beautiful, man. I almost shed a little tear because I'm like, that is just, it's so true. And so many of us eBay sellers and resellers, we just go so hard and we don't take care of ourselves, and we're just grinding, and we're coming from a good place, but sometimes we wear ourselves out. So that was awesome, Elijah. Where do you see yourself, kind of closing off this video, but where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? What are your big goals? And you know, after eBay Open, is there anything
Well, so we're
new you want to
open
do?
a second location, significantly scaling the business. I want to give away 5,000 bikes this year. I don't know if it's doable, but I want to do it. I want to figure it out. Building better relationships with government entities, and you know, opening more wholesale accounts. Probably gonna hit 500,000, 750,000 this year. Shooting for $1 million or $2 million next year is gonna be the goal here. But the big thing really is gonna be working with more nonprofits and kind of teaching them the model that we have, or contracting with them in order to do consignment, so that we can get more funding to bicycle nonprofits that are receiving these high dollar physical donations, and not optimizing the resale value of them because they're not using online platforms. They're not using eBay. So that's a big project that I'm working on next year. And then just training, you know, as many resellers as possible. Like, I love to go to meetup groups. If you run a meetup group and you want me to come and visit, I'm going to be doing a big tour in the fall, and I'd love to come and visit.
Coming to Connecticut at all?
I might. I think I'm
Hit
coming
me
to
up,
Connecticut.
man. We got to exchange numbers after
Okay,
this.
I got to figure out the flights, but I'd love to.
There's some good bike riding over there.
All right.
I love riding, man. That's why I'm like passionate about this and what you're doing.
Yeah, and then I run a meetup in Madison. We do a monthly, and there'll be a link down below to check it out. So if you're in the Madison area, Madison, Wisconsin, come on by and check it out. Yeah, and then I'll be back at Open next year, and I strongly encourage you to go. Yes, it's $1,000 between your hotel room and plane ticket and conference ticket. It is totally worth it. It is 100% worth it for the people you will meet if you intend on being any level of, you know, if you want to be a $100,000 a year seller, go to eBay Open.
Yeah.
If you want to go from 100K to $500,000, go to Open. If you want to sell $10,000 a year, maybe not worth it. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a serious seller on any level, even part-time, go to eBay Open. You will meet so many great people. You will learn so much great stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to put links down below to your meetup and any of your social that you want to share as well. We'll talk about that after, and we'll put it down below. But man, you're a beautiful soul, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. And is there anything that we at the Raiken Profit YouTube channel could do to kind of help with your donations of bicycles and things like that? I know this is kind of off the top, but is there anything that we
so
can do to help?
if you want to check out a website, there's a donation link. You can donate straight to the charity there. It's a 501c3. It's tax deductible. You could also add, if you sell on eBay, you can add a link to save money on your seller fees, and then also donate money to our nonprofit, because we're in the eBay for Charity program. That'd be super helpful. And then just share, you know, the work that we're doing with people you know. If you are in the Madison area and you want to donate bikes, you can have significant tax savings by donating bicycles, because the initial sell value, the initial dollar value can be very high. So you can save a lot of money on your taxes by donating physical bikes in any condition. Bicycle-related objects, even driven over by a truck. We will take them, we'll strip them, we'll take all the usable parts off of them and put them to use. We give away literally tons of parts every year.
That's awesome. And behind the camera is actually my good buddy Zach, who's helping with the videography, and his family owns a bike store, right?
Yes, it's 1955.
So I'm watching him, and he's like, his eyes are lighting up this whole video.
Yeah.
So it's like, we might have to do some behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, with that being said, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep, you're welcome. Check out the links below.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Sounds good.
Peace.
You know, every brand has its sellable items, but focus on the ones that you have tons of sales on. Go into sold listings and look at other people's solds. Find out what prices and how active they're getting.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video with the man, the myth, the legend. We've been on video before, Rockstar Flipper. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Mr. Raiken? How you doing? I am Casey, the Rockstar Flipper. What's up, guys?
Yeah, Casey's been someone who's definitely motivated me, inspired, educated me in my reselling business. He has a big YouTube channel, a Facebook group, which is...
Facebook group is Thrifter Reseller World. We're about to hit 110,000 members.
Yeah, so between his Facebook group and his YouTube channel, he has almost over a couple 100,000 people following him. Probably one of the largest, if not the largest, reselling community out there. So who better to talk to than Casey when it comes to the question that I've been seeing in Facebook groups, YouTube comments, my Instagram DMs. I've been hearing it a lot for years. What do I do about my slow sales on eBay? So if you're suffering from slow sales, we're gonna warn you a little bit. We're gonna give you a little bit of tough love, knock some sense into you, because sometimes you need it. We've needed it every now and then. I've been smacked around by some of my friends because I'm talking gibberish, but we're also gonna kind of lay down some facts and kind of give you some proof, I guess, in a sense of what's going on. So let's start off with the tough love first, Casey.
For sure.
Most people are having slow sales for one reason. I know you guys are gonna be thinking, oh yeah, there they go again, but it's true. Why do most people have slow sales?
So just to give you guys a quick little overview of it, every week I look at dozens of stores and store reviews and people's accounts, and probably 60 or 70% or more are just not putting in enough work to see the results. The eBay adage, and I know it's cliche, is feed the beast. We all say feed the beast. If you don't feed the beast, which means working every day consistently, you're not gonna see results, period. Like, that is just fact. Every time I see it, somebody goes working all week long, results up. They take 2 or 3 days off, boom, results down, period.
Yeah, so Casey's reviewed, probably hundreds, if not thousands of eBay stores. So if you guys have an eBay store and you're looking for a review, I'm not an affiliate or anything, I'm just really good friends with Casey. I'll put a link down below in the description. If you guys want to review somebody who's been in business for how long?
12 years on eBay.
12 years on eBay. And again, I'm not affiliate, I'm not trying to pitch it, I'm just trying to add value. If you guys need a review, someone to go through and just break everything down, check out the link if you want to get a review. But who better to talk to about this than you, because you've actually dove into people's accounts and you've seen what's going on, what's happening. So the number one thing is they're just not listing enough.
Yeah, and so the really good thing to see if you fall in that category, because number one is like the kind of self-admission, like the realizing what you are and aren't doing. I've created, and you can do this on your own, and again, if you get a review, I'll help you with it. I've created like a Google shared sheet where we do a goal for every week and then for every month, and we write down daily how many items you've listed, how many you cross-posted, how many you shared, and you put 4 or 5 goals, and then it calculates your totals and your percentages, and you'll get an idea of how much work you really are doing, and it's fantastic. Anybody can do it. Just create an Excel or a Google sheet and see where you're at. Set a reasonable goal, set it for every day, and if you start seeing goose eggs, you know you're not putting in enough work. You shouldn't have any goose eggs. I know we all need a little time off, but schedule stuff. Have it in drafts. Have it ready.
So do you recommend, Casey, for people who are dealing with slow sales or just listing in general, to spend 1 or 2 days and batch everything and schedule it out? Or do you find that your students and the folks that you review their stores, do they do better when they list? For me, I used to always do 10 items a day,
right,
5 days a week. And that was my strategy. I'm not saying it's the best.
And that is actually a really good point. So a lot of people be like, well, I did 200 listings in 2 days, and then so I'm good for the rest of the week, which isn't exactly true, because eBay likes activity every single day. So if your schedule allows you to list every day, like we could 10, 15 items a day, like fantastic, do that. If you have, let's say, I know a young lady that works 3 12-hour shifts. So those 3 days she can't do anything. So on her off days, she'll schedule an extra 2 or 3 each day and leave them in drafts. And then on her working days, she just clicks those really quick and makes them active. So always make sure something is going on in each day. And if you can even do, revisions or editing, that helps too.
Yeah, so listing is important. Actively listing on a regular basis is important. eBay's looking for that. But let's not forget, let's touch on the elephant in the room. If you list up a pile of crap, it's still a pile of crap.
Yep.
How often, sorry to interrupt you, but how often do you go through and people are listing consistently, they're doing everything, they might have good keywords, good titles, great feedback, But a pile of crap is a pile of crap. I'm sorry to be so blunt about it.
No, it is. And this is a hard reality. This is probably the hardest reality. I think that a lot of people know when they're working or when they're not working, but I feel really bad for people that really are putting in the work. And, you know, without naming names, somebody the other day had, I think, 1,800 active listings, which is a lot of listings. Full-time seller, but only selling about 2 items a day, which is a very, very bad sell-through rate. And the problem was, out of the 1,800 items, about 15 or 1,600 were really just bad items. And it's a hard reality life lesson where you need to go to your inventory and go down each item, look at how many are active, how many are selling, and at what rate, which means how many a day. So let's say that you look up an item, just an example, there's 1,000 currently active, and you go to solds, which defaults to 90 days, and there's 30 that have sold over 90 days. Well, that means out of 1,000 items that are actively up, only one every 3 days out of what's eBay, 35 million sellers. So if your item is only selling one item every couple of days, it's probably not a really in demand or good item. And so you can have 18 million of those items listed. Nobody's buying them. So take a harsh look. And if your stuff is junk, it's junk. You're only hurting yourself. eBay will drag you down for having a bunch of junk that doesn't sell.
So it sounds like it's almost like you can't treat the symptom. You have to dig a little deeper, right? You've got the slow sales. You've got the stuff that isn't high quality. So now you have to dig deeper to your sourcing, right? So maybe slow sales has nothing to do with your activity level or your keywords or listing regularly. It might be the items, but where you're finding them. So could you give any tips for folks who, like, what advice did you give to the guy or gal who had the 1,800 items and 1,600 of them were junk? I'm sure you said, hey, you got to find better products. Well, how?
Right, yeah. So a lot of the brands, you know, for clothing and shoe sellers, it's all about brands and styles. So you have to educate yourself, go through your solds and look at the brands that are actually in your sold listings. Like, did you sell 20 Tommy Bahamas but 0 Express? Cross Express off your list, unless it's a super unique or rare piece. You know, every brand has its sellable items, but focus on the ones that you have tons of sales on. Go into sold listings and look at other people's solds. Find out what prices and how active they're getting. You know, I showed her a friend of mine's store that sells plus size clothing, and her plus size 600 listings selling 25 a day. And I'm like, look at these plus size brands. You know? And that's just one example. I was like, look at these plus size brands, make a list of all the brands she's selling, and start looking for these when you're out of the store. Well, sure enough, she went sourcing the next day and found 4 or 5 pieces of brands she didn't know.
So you didn't even have to change. Here, I was trying to like feed you the idea of, well, maybe check garage sales or maybe pallets or liquidation, but sometimes you don't even have to do that. If you take a look at what's working in the market, you might be able to find that at the locations you're already going to.
Yeah, that's always my step one is what are you passing on? What are you missing? We can't all know everything, but if you start focusing only on what's selling and not all the stuff that's not, you eliminate half of having to dig through stuff that's just worthless. And then your point, the second thing is, if that doesn't work and you can't find enough there, then you have to go outside of your sourcing. You know, depending on where you live, your climate. You know, we got garage sales, yard sales. This is going to be my fire tip for everyone today. One of the best places to get inventory, and this is in any state, any city, anywhere that no one does, is church sales. A lot of people go to church sales, but here's the fire tip: if you make a list of the churches and you call all of your churches in your local area, they have usually 2 sales a year, fall, spring, whatever. You can write down the dates. If you call 50, 60, 70 churches in a weekend, which I've done,
you have
an entire calendar of lists of all the churches of every weekend, that this church, this church, this church. And so each weekend you can go. Church sales are one of the cheapest, best sources of material.
And something I know about church sales and library sales, hopefully this doesn't come off the wrong way, but a lot of times it's quite a bit older folks who are running them, so they're not really up to date with the technology and getting things on Craigslist and Facebook. So a lot of times they're not even highly promoted.
No.
So if you could be there first, the competition doesn't even know.
Right. So the church sales generally are, that's what I was saying, like the congregation, the members, and a few random people. So if you just call the church, they will tell you right away and say, hey, do you guys have yearly sales? What are the dates? They'll give it to you. After like 2 hours, I had a whole notebook of just date, name of the church, address and date, and I put it into a spreadsheet and sent it over to my Google Calendar. And every Saturday I was getting notifications, 2 church sales today, and I'd come out of church sales with like 50 pieces, 60 pieces, $1 each, $2 each, bring it home, $500 worth of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to throw at you and talk to the viewers about when it comes to slow sales is preparing in advance and seasonality. What are your thoughts when you think of seasonality and preparation?
Yeah.
What do you think about?
Yeah, so that is one of the factors that's less controllable by us. So we all know there's summer slowdown, which we're kind of in the middle of. We all know we have winter gear, like heavy coats, Patagonia that you guys love, and all that sort of thing. So while you can sell it year round, obviously you're going to make your peak amount of money and your faster sell-through rates if you target those seasons. So obviously we're in July. So coming August, you should be stocking up on heavy coats, winter boots, the Patagonias, the North Faces. Filson does really good in wintertime.
I love CC Filson.
Filson is one of those top ones. We don't get a lot of that in Florida though. So
your Pendletons, your vintage Woolriches.
Yeah, so these brands, make yourself a list, a notebook of winter gear and then summer gear, Tommy Bahama, Lily Pulitzer, more summer type thing. And if you could get, 50% more during the right season, you're automatically making more money over the course of the year by doing nothing other than just targeting the right season.
Yeah, the preparation is huge. So you want to kind of buy in the opposite season than what's going on. If you have the cash flow, if you're brand new, then you're probably not going to want to do that. But if you've got a couple $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 sitting around, you can invest a couple grand, get 400 or 500 items, throw it in a storage locker or somewhere that's climate controlled, of course, and be ready for that season. What else comes to your mind? Because I really want to nail this down. I want this to be the video people go to when they're dealing with slow sales. What else have you seen from going through your store reviews, which I'll put a link below if you guys need one, talking with, interacting with, reviewing stores? What else kind of stands to mind? Maybe things that people don't realize actually make an effect.
Yeah, so the other angle that we go in a lot of the reviews and video calls that I do is if what you're doing is not working and you keep doing the same thing month after month after month, you have to change it up. So it could be best offer, it could be free shipping, it could be top rated seller with returns. So you need to go down those list of 5 or 6 policies, the free returns, top rated, maybe the handling time, the best offers, free shipping, and once we nail down having good stuff and good prices and photos and all that, check and see what else you have going on. Again, my number one tip is go look at the solds and see what is selling. Did 100 Pendleton coats sell and they all had free shipping? Well, that means Pendleton shoppers want free shipping. Did they all sell on best offer? Pendleton people like best offer. So you will find trends when people are going to go through their solds now. They're going to message Steve and they're going to be like, oh my God, I looked through all this stuff and I couldn't believe what I saw.
Want to hear a time I gave bad advice?
Uh-oh.
So I have a good friend, Vinny. He's been coming on my channel lately. He used to work for me years ago, and then he had gotten a job, and now he's been doing it for 2 years. He's working a full-time job, but now his 60 days is up to 8,000 in sales.
Nice.
So the advice I was giving him when he was new, because I started as a clothing seller. I used to always do everything buy it now, best offer. That's just what I did. Maybe it wasn't the best strategy, but it worked for me. It worked for me. So when he was starting his toy business, I was drilling into his head, buy it now, best offer is the only way to do it. Like, you want to do buy it now, you want to do buy it now. And his sales were really suffering. And that was bad advice on my part, because after about a year of experimenting, auctions makes him more money because those nostalgic type items, people fight over it and the collectors go crazy. So my advice was bad. So you've got to understand what you're selling, what market you're in as well. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, every item and category has a different, toys may be terrible for buy it nows and go to auction. Like police memorabilia might be fantastic for buy it now, best offer. Selling Wolverine boots is a terrible free shipping. You got to charge, and every time they'll pay for it. So that's why you got to look at the items and see what makes best sense and what works. That's probably my number one advice at the end of the day for everyone is what works for you. What I sell may not be available in Connecticut. The material I can get and the way that I sell it might cause your account to go to crap. So you have to do what works for you. You have to take what's available in your area, all of our different areas. That's one of the great things. I talk to people all across the country and seeing all their different stores. I've been marking and tracking the regions of the country. And the numbers and what kind of material they're selling, and it's interesting to see the different trends. And so during calls, I share that with people. I'm like, oh, you're in the Northeast or in the Northwest. Here's what I found with a lot of sellers in your area. Here's what they're finding. Here's what's successful and what's not successful. So do what works for you and find what's in your area that's available always.
Cool. And 2 more things I want to touch on. Very, very important. One thing is a quick tip that I'm going to share, and I love your feedback on it. Do you ever give your clients advice to cross-promote items? because a lot of times people are like, let's just talk clothing. Clothing sells great on eBay, but also certain items sell extremely well on Etsy and Poshmark as well. So do you see, or have you ever given that advice, and has it helped people boost slow sales at all?
Absolutely. So I'm not an Etsy seller, but I have a lot of good friends, not just clients, but good friends that do Etsy.
Yeah, me too.
Vintage dresses, some of those Aztec vests that Bonafide is so in love with.
Did you see the College Pickers Big E Levi's jacket
Yes.
sale? $5,800 or something.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. Something
high, yeah. So there are some platforms where there are people that specifically look for specific items. We've got another friend, everyone knows who he is, they'll just write, I won't say his name, but he sells a lot of neckties, certain brands of neckties, and he does a black background. He'll get $20, $30 for, he paid $2 for a tie on eBay, but over on Mercari, it sells for $75, the same tie all day long. And so if you look at his Mercari solds versus like my solds, it's like $29, $39, $79, $69. So look for the platforms too. Absolutely cross-post. Look at the solds. And I'm gonna do a shameless plug for a company that I like, sellhound.com. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Okay.
They are a free website, Sellhound, Hound, that you can type in an item, any item, and it will pop up with not just the price for eBay, the current active average and the current sold average.
No way.
It also brings up 8 different platforms at once, side by side by side.
Like averaging the selling and buying cost?
Of each platform. So it'll have eBay, Posh, Mercari, Etsy, just 8 platforms in a row. They actually work with 150 platforms, Depop, Grailed.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's completely free. All you have to do is open the website and type in the item. It'll pop right up. They have an app as well. And I love the people at Sellhound. Nothing in it for them. They're charging. They do have some products coming out. They're going to be awesome. But that is a great
Cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so we use that every day to take a look like, oh, look, it's on eBay for 25, but Etsy's averaging 55. Like, and the prices are up to date by like the minute.
Do you know the girls? I just interviewed them. They had just come in, Amanda and Clara from, I believe it's Perfect Listing? Or
Listed Perfectly?
Listed Perfectly?
Yes.
Sorry, I just met them and learned about the software. I don't know if you've used it or not.
I've not. I just met them last night as well.
I just interviewed them. So their software, you go onto their platform, whatever it's called, I'm sorry, but you upload your description, and then you hit a button, and it cross promotes to like Etsy, Poshmark, eBay, just instantly.
Yeah, right.
It's new, so it doesn't protect you when it sells. You have to go in and like unlist them and stuff.
Right.
But it's coming. It's new.
Yeah. So I talked to them for a little while, and it sounds like it's got a lot of potential. So I'm gonna be keeping up with them.
Yeah.
And if it works, I'll give it to you. I'll push you guys over to it, or Steve, I'm sure is gonna push it. Like if that's a tool, use tools. That's another thing.
Yeah.
If your sales are slow and you need to get more up or cross post.
Yeah.
I watched this guy that has nothing to do with reselling, but his entire daily motto when he wakes up is, the more eyes that see your product, the more eyes that can buy your product every day. And so if 1,000 people are seeing your items on eBay every day, and you put it on Poshmark and now 2,000 people are seeing it every day, you instantly doubled your chance to sell any item. So the more eyes, the better, always.
Yep. And last question I have to end this video, I think we've shared a lot of value in this video. Absolutely. The person out there who, man, they're banging their head against the wall, they're in the Facebook groups being super negative, they're beating themselves up, they're saying, you know what, I don't care if Casey or Raiken or anybody or Bonafide or Rally Roots, they're having success or they had success in the past, whatever, like I'm about to quit. I just can't take this anymore.
Right.
This is BS, this is a scam. These guys are just in it for the YouTube money, this and that.
We wish.
Oh, let's not get them started. No, but seriously, people, there's a good probably 10% or less of people who think like this, and that's thousands of people.
Yeah, I do get those emails on a weekly basis.
So how do we help them? That's my question.
The first thing I always tell people whenever they're ready to quit is I send them this email, and I know this is going to sound bad, but I send the same email because I think it's amazing, is I tell them to take a day off. Like, don't think about eBay or selling tomorrow. Just take the day off, and when they're done, come back tomorrow, the following day, and email me again and see if the email has changed. And if you still feel that way, if you still are at the point where, look, I can't do this, I'm quitting, besides just giving me a chance to help you out, if you want to help yourself, if you don't want to pay us, you don't want to take a class, you don't want to, pay me for a call, whatever, sit down with yourself, look at everything, make a list of everything that worked for you, everything that you sold that was profitable, everything that you made money on. and just make this list as long as you can, everything that was good. And next to it, make a list of everything that was bad and see which list is longer. If your list of everything that was super, super long of all these bad, negative things, and don't be, be harsh on yourself, but don't beat yourself up over it. Just put this list. I guarantee you that list of goods is going to outweigh the bad, because we all have returns, we all have mistakes, we all have crappy days, and it happens. But for me, it's probably 5 or 10%, and that 90 or 95% of the money you make, the good days, the ups are always outweighing the bads, always. So I think if people are, being harsh on themselves and being rash to say, I quit, everything's going wrong, if they sit down and write it down and think about it, they'll realize that a lot more is going good.
Yeah, and I think this is appropriate to say as well. We're at the eBay Open right now. We're in Las Vegas, got a beautiful view.
It is awesome.
We'll share with you guys what it looks like. Get around people who are having success. Don't let your ego get in your way and say, I'm not going to go because I'm going to feel bad because they're smarter. It's not the case. It's just a matter of experience, and the people who are more successful have usually screwed up and made more mistakes. But start getting around people, right?
Yeah.
Start getting around people who are doing it, and it'll motivate you.
Just one of the best things that I love doing, not just about the calls that I get to see everyone's stores, because I do see bad stores, but I see some fantastic stores that are doing just killing it. My very good friend Colleen just went full-time last year after being a teacher for 11 years, making very low money. Colleen did 2 years ago, part-time, about $20,000 in sales. Last year, in her first year, we talked a few times. We went on vacation together, actually. She got up to $45,000 last year.
Wow.
This year, she just hit $80,000 already.
Ooh.
She's going to do about $120,000 this year. And she's at 50% margin.
Takes time, though.
Yeah. 2 years going full-time. But now, and I don't say that people are like, oh, it's showing off. Colleen put in work day. I've tracked her for 2 years. We've become very good friends. My fiance and her are great friends now. And she is just killing it. And she didn't do anything different than she was doing before besides she quit her job. And don't go quit your job, but when you get to the point of you can put in the time, she saw it. She went from 20 to 40 to 80,000 now, and she works hard. And when she came here to eBay Open, she was like, all I had to do was just work hard, and now look at the results. And I'm so proud of her. So Colleen, if you watch this,
big shout out to Colleen.
Good job, girl. Colleen Gallagher, she's awesome.
Put in the comments right now, Colleen, you are a rock star. I knew that was coming. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, do us a big favor and hit that like button down below, comment, subscribe. If you guys enjoyed Rockstar Flipper, which I know you did, go check out his channel. I'll put links to that down below, Rockstar Flipper. Also, if you guys are looking to get a eBay store review, I'll put a link for that down below. I know Casey does a great job. He's done a couple reviews for people I know, and they've been happy. So yeah, appreciate you, brother.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Thank you to Steve's audience. I love all you guys, and can't wait to read the comments. And if you need help, certainly reach out, and don't beat yourself up. Put the work in, and you guys will see the results. And come back and tell Steve in his comments what you accomplished by putting in the work.
Yeah.
Update him in a month, and 2 months, and 3 months. It's awesome when we see the results, and we can. I've been screenshotting and showing people's results off. So
nice, awesome. So with that being said, keep on picking and making that money, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Because when I looked back, I'm like, how did I pay off that much?
Wow.
Working the hours I was working. On top of your bills and
stuff too.
Yeah, working what I was working, what I was getting paid at the time, I wasn't even making that much money.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I paid off that much. I don't even make that much.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here at Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video. And I am here with a longtime friend, subscriber, lost sister, I don't know what you want to call it, but we've been friends for how many years now? A couple of years?
At least 2, I would say.
Yeah, so you were watching my YouTube videos, and I don't know, what drew you to my channel? Were you doing clothing or?
I wanted to do a little bit more clothing, and now I've kind of decided I don't really like it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. Well, make me cry in the first part of the video. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't, it's anyway.
Do you sell clothing now still?
I do some.
Yeah.
But I'm not actively sourcing it just because I don't want to continue doing it. So I'm trying to clear out what I have so that I can start putting more of the stuff that I do enjoy, which is like smaller things that will fit in a small mailer, or, I don't like packing big boxes. And as far as clothing goes, I don't like the measuring and, going through everything and checking all the details and the patterns and the styles and keeping up on fashion.
I loved it at first, but it got old quick.
Yeah.
So you have a YouTube channel as well. Do you want to share that? I know it's not like a reselling channel.
Yeah, and I have 2 YouTube channels.
Share them.
Actually.
Come on, let the people know.
So I have Clear and Clutter for Clarity.
I love it. Say that 5 times.
Yeah, I can't even say it 5 times. Clear and Clutter for
I
Clarity.
think I tried to say it on Instagram one time like 5 times and I couldn't.
Yeah, and then I think he just said, I'm just going to call you CC. I'm like, okay, well, whatever works. So I have that one, and that's more like getting rid of clutter, and that's more like my journey.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That I ended up with after I had a lot of debt.
Okay.
So it's like, it's that journey,
Yeah.
but then I made an Instant Pot video,
Okay.
and all of a sudden it's like everybody's subscribing because of the Instant Pot. And
What's
I'm like,
Instant Pot?
It's a pressure cooker.
Okay, I had no idea.
It came out like
Guys,
3
you know what
years
I'm talking
ago
about.
or
Did you,
something.
Zach, did you know what an Instant Pot was?
No.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
so it's a pressure cooker, and I got this thing and I was like, this is awesome. And I think I was trying to find videos and I couldn't find any on it, or any that were real explanatory. And so I just decided to make my own video, and all of a sudden it's like everybody subscribing because of the Instant Pot.
Did that video take
And
off like crazy?
I think I checked it the other day, and I think it has around like 300,000 views.
Wow.
But it's from 3 years ago.
Hey.
You know, like all my other videos, I have like
To get all your Instant Pot needs met, I'm gonna put a link down below. But anyways, enough of this Instant Pot talk. People are here, okay, because they want to know about your story, okay? Because you said you were in debt, right?
Yeah.
You were in debt and you accumulated all this clutter. And then essentially you went from all of that to starting up multiple businesses. You have eBay business, Amazon business. I think you said you stopped Etsy. You're doing Poshmark.
Right.
Right. And you're working part-time. She's a part-time reseller, also a part-time, whatever you want to call it, working in the 9 to 5 hustle grind, just working a normal job. But she has desires of going full-time, but she's kind of hitting some challenges and so on and so forth. So let's start with your story and then we'll transition into that. So how did you get yourself into debt? What happened?
Okay, well, let's just backtrack just a tiny bit.
I got excited.
So the other channel, I've just changed the name because ever since I started it, I have not liked the name on it.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to eBay Open and people are going to be like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know, that name. So I changed it to Terraness Studio. And because Terraness was taken.
Yeah.
So that's the other channel, and that's what my Instagram handle is as well.
Perfect.
So, and I have a few videos on there, like talking about how I do my budget, but that was a long time ago. I got into debt from the time I was 18.
Credit cards?
Credit cards,
Yeah.
department stores. I had a car, like anything and everything. I mean, I ended up in so much debt.
We don't learn about this
And
stuff in
then-
school. I really honestly feel like it. Like I'm sympathetic to it.
I wish that they would teach us. So I didn't know anything. I didn't have good teachers in that. And so I had lots of debt, lots of clutter. I'm trying to think
No, it's
back
all
to
good. I mean,
how this all started. I worked 2 jobs. I've always worked 2 jobs, actually. I've always had a full-time and
always
then a
been a
part-time
hustler.
job. Always done it. I hustled as a little kid. So the second job was always meant to be to pay off the debt. But it's almost
first job,
like,
pay your bills. Second,
yes.
take
Yes.
the extra income and pay off that debt so then you could get to a point where you can make a move.
Right.
Yeah.
And that never happened. It's like the more money I made, the more I spent. I wasn't saving. I wasn't doing anything the way that I should. And so it was probably, well, let's see. I started eBay in 2002. And that was when people were sending money orders and checks and cash in the mail.
I remember those days.
So that's when I started
Not
eBay.
that long ago, but I still remember like it was even like 2007 and 8, I think they were still doing that.
Really?
I think so. I really feel like that.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
that's
know.
when you started, right?
Well, I started
Around there?
like 6 years ago.
Okay.
So
I
no,
thought it
not
was a little
even,
bit
no, I started in like
longer.
2012, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. But I
So-
messed with like eBay, just like buying and like selling a random thing, you know? So.
Okay. So yeah, I started way back then, and then pretty soon after that, I started selling stuff. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I was using an old computer that had dial-up, AOL.
Those noises that used to come out of that machine. Why? Can I ask someone in the comments, we've flown to the moon, we've done so many amazing things. Couldn't they have made a better noise to come out of that thing when you were signing in?
Sounds like a robot or something. Yeah, so I was using AOL, And, you know, we didn't have YouTube at the time. And so I got a lot of information from Suzanne Wells. I'm sure you are familiar with her. Suzanne A. Wells.
Yeah, no, I know Suzanne. I've been wanting to get on a video for a long time with her.
Yeah, so I would follow her blog. And I remember she would post things on there. And I remember there was this one day she posted some lotion. And she said, if you can find this, make sure you buy it. And I don't know how soon after it was, but I saw that lotion and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Is this the real thing?
Yeah.
And I bought everything on the shelf and I sold each one for like $40.
No way.
I killed it on those. And then I never found any more after that. It was the weirdest thing.
And what were you paying for those?
Like $3.
Wow, $3 to $40. So you were profiting like 25, 30 bucks.
I was making a lot of money on them. And they were selling
That's
fast.
insane.
So I would just go and find things that I could, get cheap and then sell for more. But, okay, so let's see, that was 2002, 3-ish.
Were there thrift stores? Were a lot of thrift stores? Because I didn't start doing this game until like 2012, 13. What were thrift stores like in 2002, 2003?
I didn't go to them.
So you didn't go to thrift stores? So
No.
you were just doing like RA? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Like, I feel like
I loved it.
RA was invented in like 200015. It started popping off on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like you were doing it like holy
way,
crap.
way back. Yeah.
Jeez, she's like the pioneer of RA. Oh my gosh.
I was doing that thanks to Suzanne.
Yeah.
Like she
Big
was
shout out to Suzanne.
amazing. Yeah, definitely. So I learned a lot from her. And I just continued to do eBay here and there, but it was hard working the two jobs.
So eBay was kind of like on the side, Karen. You were just making a couple bucks. You would find an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I just kind of dabbled in it. So, I wasn't like full force, like I got to do eBay. It was not like that at all. And I think it was 2006 or so, I decided that I wanted to get out of debt. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have a lot of debt.
Was it still stacking or was it kind of just stagnant?
It was, because I had an American Express card and I owed them so much and I was so I was maxed out on all of my cards, and I probably had like 7 of them.
See, I've never been
plus a car payment and
I've never been in credit card debt, but I know the interest rates are high. So what happens is you pay it down, but then the interest catches you back up, right?
Yeah.
So unless you're making a significant amount of income that you're putting towards it, then you probably never really get ahead.
It's really hard. Wow. So that one American Express card, I was paying over $300 a month in interest, late fees, and over the limit fees.
Jeez.
And then one other card had like a 30% interest rate.
That should be illegal.
Totally agree. So, I was in a really bad position, and I just was thinking, I'm like, I'm never going to get out of this. This is not good. So I thought, I'm really going to do it this time. And then I was driving a 12-year-old car, and it was paid for. I paid for it, so many years before. And stuff started happening with my car. I had to take out a loan from my boss because I had no credit cards available.
Oh, gosh.
So my boss loaned me $2,000 to fix my car. Mm-hmm. So I had to pay her back. No interest, no time limit. She's like, just pay me when you can. And I'm like, okay. So she was going to be the last one,
She was last in line.
I know. So let's see. I ended up switching my part-time job. I was working nights, weekends, nights. I was working a lot. But then in 2007, I was in a car accident. So my paid-off car that was like the only thing that I had was considered a complete loss.
Wow.
And I'm in this position that I'm like, okay, now I have no car, no credit, high debt, and I need to get another car. And because my car was 12 years old, they wouldn't give me very much for it, even though I had full coverage, but they wouldn't give me very much.
They
and
valued
I loved
it at nothing.
that car.
Yeah, sure.
So
worked well.
Then I had to find another car. I ended up taking out like an $8,000 loan, I think, which was the most that I could get, and a horrible interest rate. And I just thought, oh, okay, so another thing, after that car accident, my car was completely totaled. I had to quit my part-time job because I had injuries and I couldn't work. I could do my day job, but I couldn't do the night job because it was more like strenuous. It was in a bar. And so I had to quit that. And I'm like, I need the money to pay off my cards. I really need to do something. What can I do? And I thought, oh, I'm just going to fall back on eBay. I'll go back to eBay.
You had a little success in the past.
Mm-hmm. So
this is what, 2007?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, late 2007.
So what did you do? Like, what did you do with eBay?
I just started selling more stuff.
Where were you getting stuff from?
I had some of my own inventory because before this life, I was a couponer.
Oh, okay.
So I had a lot of things that I could sell from that inventory. But then I would go to a store that had a lot of good things, and I would find cheap stuff, and I just started selling it, and I was
what kind
doing
of store
good.
are you talking about? Don't just tease us.
It's like a liquidation store.
She's just like, hey, I went to this store, and I'm like, well.
Okay, so I was also doing things like big lots.
Okay.
So closeout type stuff.
And I feel like there was probably a lot more opportunities back then because now with Amazon and you have all these resellers running around with apps and softwares.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So
What an unorthodox kind of outside of the box way of like sourcing back then.
Yeah.
Like you'd think most people would be doing like garage sales or thrift stores.
You're
doing
did any
RA
of
back
it.
then before it even existed.
Yeah, I never did any of that. I didn't do thrift stores.
So talk about like building up your business on eBay at that time. So you made the decision, all right, I'm going to get back onto eBay. You're in debt, the car's all messed up, now you got a loan, the debt's accumulating, you know you have to make a change. So talk about that because there's people out there I could guarantee you right now, they're in the same spot.
I would get as much like doing the retail arbitrage. I was going to different stores. Like if I found a product at Big Lots and I knew it would do well, I would go to all of the Big Lots. I would hit them all.
Yeah.
It's what people are doing now.
Yeah.
But I was doing it then, and I would not price my items the lowest. I think that hurts people. It hurts that seller and everybody else who's selling the same item. It's like the race to the bottom.
And especially now, back then they didn't have repricers and stuff, but now you undercut somebody and then the machine will pick up on it and it drops the price.
Yeah,
just match the buy box.
Right.
If you're on Amazon, or just match the price on eBay.
And that was one thing that I learned from Suzanne was don't price the lowest.
Yeah.
You can go up. Don't be the highest. Don't be the lowest. Just stay right in the middle.
And that's a valuable lesson. Everybody thinks on Amazon it's a little different because like the lowest price a lot of times means everyone, for the most part, the lowest price is important. But on eBay especially, pictures, keywords, description, return policy, how fast you ship, but especially like pictures and details like that, you can demand a higher price. Also on eBay, I found being the lowest price, sometimes I feel like consumers, they think and they say, well, what's wrong with this item? Why is it so cheap? So it's like a depreciation of value in a sense. So
yeah. So that's just kind of what I was doing at the time. And I remember taking my packages to the post office and I would hear this talk show on the radio. And there were these people doing these debt-free screams and, oh, I paid off, whatever $1,000 in debt. And I'm like, what is this?
Is this Dave Ramsey?
Dave Ramsey,
Was it?
yes.
Oh, wow.
So I'm working my day job, doing eBay on the side, and then I found Dave Ramsey just by chance. And I'm like, who is this guy? And I thought, I need to follow this plan. And so I started to. And I'm like, I am going to do this.
Yeah.
So in 2009, I started my debt-free journey.
Oh, wow.
And I had originally projected that it would take me about 3 years or 4 years or something like that.
Yeah, so 2012, 13, you were hoping to be debt-free.
I also started a blog at the time to document the journey. This was like, YouTube might have been out, but there was no way I was going to go on camera.
You're like, I'm not
that's not going to happen. I made
blog.
videos and they were not showing my face because I was not cool with that. So let's see. I found him, started that, and it took me 16 months to pay off $24,000.
What?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Now, did eBay contribute to you being able to do that?
Yes, but I had another thing. It wasn't completely eBay because when I looked back, I'm like, how did I pay off that much?
Wow.
Working the hours
on top
I was
of your bills
working,
and stuff, too.
Yeah, working what I was working, what I was getting paid at the time, I wasn't even making that much money.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I paid off that much. I don't even make that much. Like, this is crazy. But I was doing some other stuff on the side. So I ended up doing house sitting, dog sitting, and caretaking for the
She's
same
like the
family.
ultimate hustler. You would never even like look at her and imagine it. And it's like when you're sleeping, she's working.
Yeah. So it was all for the same family, but I feel really blessed that I had those opportunities.
That is amazing.
And I just threw every penny at the debt, every penny. And I became debt free, and then I made another goal. I'm like, I'm going to save money and I'm going to get rid of this car because it didn't have air conditioning.
Oh, geez.
And I live in Utah.
Oh, yeah.
So, 100-degree weather in the summer, no air conditioning. I was dying. But once I got out of debt and I made that goal to save money, I saved for, I don't know how long it was, but I saved the amount of money I wanted to save.
Yeah.
And once I got to that point, I was like, I'm not spending this money on a car. That's going to drain all the money that I have saved, and that's not going to happen. So I drove it for another 2 years, I think.
You got sucked into the Dave Ramsey loop.
I did.
I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey as well. So
yeah, I drove it for another 2 years, and then I paid cash for my next car.
Wow.
It wasn't the one I wanted. I ended up with a 3-year-old Mini Cooper. But I paid cash.
But you're smart for not buying brand new, because brand new off the lot, you're going to get that instant 20% depreciation or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's cool. That's interesting. Big shout out to Dave Ramsey. And what was his program called for anyone in debt right now?
It's Financial Peace University.
You know what's funny? I think I found one of those at a thrift store one time. They're big. It's like a big little.
There's a workbook. Yeah, well, you can buy the whole kit.
Yeah, I found a whole kit and I flipped on Amazon for like $80 or something like that.
Yeah.
But after I sold it, I wasn't in debt at the time, but I was like, crap, I wish I would have kept that, because it was probably some really good stuff in there.
It's real beneficial. But even just, you don't have to take the program. You don't have to go through the class. You can just listen to it. It's very motivational, and that's what helped me. Just listening to that constantly, it's in my ear. And it's the same thing that like these kind of videos and watching people on Instagram do what they do, because it keeps you going.
Yeah.
You say, I want to do that. I want to be that person. And so you just listen to them and you're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do it. So
Jim Rohn said you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with most, but I would even take it a step further and say you're the average of the 5 pieces of information that goes into your mind on average. Like whatever you're listening to or consuming, whether it's a physical interaction like this, or say we're having phone calls all the time, or I was just watching your YouTube video or whatever, like those messages, those thoughts are going to resonate. You're going to become whatever it is you consume in a sense. So if you want to change your life, if you're in debt, consume Dave Ramsey, right?
Yes.
Read books about that. Don't hang out with people who, or limit your time hanging out with people. Like I'm sure you probably had some influencers in your life who were negatively impacting those decisions, right?
Yes.
We don't have to get into that. But I come from a background of, drugs and different things and hanging out with the wrong people. So to change my life, I had to change my environment. And it sounds like you did that as well.
Well, you've done a great job with everything that you've done. You've come a long way.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome. It's been fun watching your journey. It's really cool.
So I want to transition a little bit more over to, now that we've talked about your story and stuff, and I'm sure we could keep going, but I'm sure the people watching now are like, I want to hear some eBay content. So you're part-time working, part-time eBay. I'm sure you're doing a bunch of hustles on the side, knowing you now better in person. But what are the challenges that you're dealing with right now, transitioning fully over to reselling, if you had to name like a couple that stand out?
It's just not having the time.
Time management?
Time management is a huge one. Trying to take care of everything that you need to take care of. Everyone's in a different situation. And some people have families, some people
relationships, kids.
And it all takes away from the time that you want to put into something.
I know.
It's really hard. It's hard to balance it all.
You know what I think it comes down to is priorities in a sense, right? Is figuring out, because really there's only so much time in the day. There's a million things you can do, but I think it's a matter of like really self-reflecting. Like something I've been doing a lot lately is just walking, like meditating, like thinking, like journaling and stuff, because I feel like so much like we're just like stuck in this loop of like our habits and our rituals, right? And we just do what we do because that's what we do.
Yes.
But we don't get the results we want. We have to really think and reflect upon, okay, I want to go this direction in my finances, this direction in my career, but I can't keep doing what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to write down your goals. They say, I don't know who says it, but.
Quote them.
I don't know who it is.
She's going to drop a quote right now.
No, I'm not, because I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad, but it's something like, a goal that's not written is just a wish or something. It's
I know what
something
you're saying,
along
yeah.
those lines. And I can't remember what exactly it is or who said it, but that's basically what it is. Once you write it down and you can look at it every day and work towards it and say, what do I need to do to get there?
Yeah.
What are the steps? Then you can get there.
So a great
Same thing I did with my debt free. I made a budget and I stuck to that budget. I sacrificed so much.
And one thing I want to mention as well, there's two types of goals. There's result-oriented goals and then there's process goals. I like to actually focus on the process goals because I'm a huge like Tony Robbins, self-development, Brian Tracy. Like I listen to all these guys.
Yes.
And a lot of times you get so caught up in like, I want to make $2,000 or I want to get out of debt. But in order to get that result, there's an action which follows a process in order to be able to get that. So like a goal could be, I want to list 5 items per day.
Yeah.
Right, or 10 items per day. Well, how am I going to be able to list 10 items a day? I only have time for 5. Well, then you ask yourself, what can I do? So maybe I could hire a virtual assistant, or eBay, they just launched the new, the user ability to add a user to your eBay account. So maybe you take the pictures, now you hire a VA in the Philippines, take the time to train them to do that. But I think time management does come down to, you know, process-oriented goals and then figuring out your values and stuff. It's tough though.
But it's hard. You want to give everything that you're doing enough time to satisfy it all. You know? It's hard to get it all done.
What other challenges besides time management? Is there any? Are you have a fear of not having that because working a job, there's that automatic guaranteed pay, whereas running an eBay Poshmark business, there's that risk, there's the upfront cash flow. Does that make you nervous at all? Or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you have everything else that you're responsible for. You know, you have your taxes. You're going to have to pay higher taxes if you're working for yourself, and you're going to have to pay your own insurance, health insurance.
Yeah.
And there's just more things that come into play. So you can't just say, I need to make $2,000 a month or whatever it is. And once you hit that point, say, okay, I'm good. Because that's not realistic.
Yeah.
You need to add that 35% or whatever it is for the taxes, add the amount that you're paying for insurance, for health insurance, and that's expensive. You have to factor everything in and then get to that point, and I think keep that consistent, you know, continue doing that for an extended period of time so that you know you're okay, and definitely have savings in the bank.
For sure.
Because you never know if something's going to happen.
Murphy's Law, like, it's something along the lines of if something bad can happen or it will happen. I don't know. I am trying to say a quote. How are we doing on time right now?
We're at 25 out of 20.
All right, cool. So we got a couple more minutes. So yeah, like Murphy's Law says, if something bad can happen, it will, or what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
I can promise you, for everyone watching, I don't care if you're running an eBay, an Amazon, or a couponing business, whatever you're doing, something bad is going to happen, and it's going to take you back 5 steps. So have that padding, have that cushion, get out of debt, start saving money, and don't just quit your job. Some people have done it, they can, God bless them, but for the average human being, things are gonna go wrong. You don't wanna quit your job until all your expenses are essentially paid and you've been doing it for a while. That's the advice that I would give. So I don't know where you are, I'm not gonna dive into your personal finances and whatnot in this video, but get your business going to the point where it's paying all your expenses and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're always gonna have to take that leap of faith. There's no guarantees.
It's true. I think that it would be best if people don't go into debt in order to become resellers, and definitely keep your reselling separate. Keep your finances for your reselling separate.
Like separate
Open a
credit
separate
cards,
account. Do separate
bank
credit
accounts.
cards. Yes, because
I made that mistake for the first couple of years.
I
and
did that in the beginning.
My dad was my CPA and he wanted to punch me in the face every time
he
I saw
did.
him. So then eventually I'm like, all right, I got to fix this. And then I just moved on and whatever.
Yeah.
But big mistake, big mistake. If you get audited and you don't have those things separated, it's just going to be a nightmare.
You're trying to go through and you're saying, oh, well, I bought this at this store and I'm not sure what it was or what I paid. And then you're mixing your personal with your business in one receipt, and it just gets really complicated.
Yeah.
So definitely I would say keep them separate and get out of debt.
Yeah.
That's one big thing for me, is stay out of debt. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So hopefully this video inspired you guys. We talked a lot about her story. We gave some tips in terms of how to get out of debt and how you did it. Talked about some of your challenges and whatnot. And these are challenges that everybody's dealing with. But I don't know. I have confidence in her. I want you guys to leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this video. I think she's going to crush it. I think you are.
I hope so. I'm working on it.
So
I want to have a full-time income.
You can definitely do it for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the greatest things. We're here right now at the eBay Open.
Yes, first time for me.
But you're probably meeting people who are full-time sellers, part-time sellers.
Oh my gosh. The people here are amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So
Yeah.
it's like, this is the place you want to come when you have fears, when you're nervous, when you're just starting to cross over into the light or you're getting ready to have a breakthrough. Get around people who are already doing it.
Yep, like-minded people.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this.
No,
It just
you
takes
don't.
hard work, effort. You've got to learn, grow, be willing to get back up when you make a mistake, and just glad to have you here. Finally,
I know.
finally connected on a video. So any final
been a long
last
time.
words of wisdom for the folks before this video?
From me?
Yep. Yeah, something.
I thought I just
we need a
said
quote.
it.
We need a quote.
A
We need
quote.
one more quote.
Oh, I don't have a quote. Stay out of
Here,
debt.
I got
Stay
one more
out of
thing to say to the
debt.
people.
Okay.
Keep on picking and making that money, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I had to go out, workman's comp. It didn't really work out well, and then they denied my claim, and then I ended up ultimately filing for disability. So that's kind of how I got into reselling.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video. We are at the eBay Open. I don't have this thing on me right now because it's making a lot of noise every time I move, but we're in Las Vegas. I am with Adam of Adam's Exploits on YouTube. Also, you have a Facebook group, which is
Reselling Rhythms.
And I wanted to connect with you because I've heard a lot of great things about you and your story, and I want to share that with the viewers. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit about who you are and maybe what you're currently doing in terms of reselling.
Sure. The short version, I call it my elevator speech, which like when I interview people as well on my channel. I started out in southern New Jersey. Went to local schools, and my mother was a kind of like a single parent. I had mentioned to you earlier, my dad had early onset Parkinson's, like Michael J. Fox. And what happened was, and then he he got leukemia.
Yeah.
So I had to be like partial, like a kind of a caregiver to my father as well. So my parents said to me, we want you to get a college education because we believe in that. You go to a local university. So I went to Rutgers University in Camden, which is an advent of the New Brunswick campus. So, and then what they surprised me when I've told people on my channel, they actually bought me a new car. They said, you're going to go to our friend of the family and we're going to get you a car because you gave up going away to school to help your family. So they said, pick out a car, this is what you can get and, customize it whatever way you want and it's yours. And they told me we're going to pay your tuition. We're going to pay all your fees basically. You just basically buy your books. And they bought me a car. So I had to pay for like transportation and stuff. Sure. And so I got involved in a liquor store because a friend of my uncle's had worked at a liquor store at the time. And you had to be basically 18 to work at a liquor store. That's when the drinking age was 18.
Sure, yeah.
So I started working at a liquor store. And then I got my college degree. And then I became an assistant manager at it was a chain of liquor stores. So I became assistant manager. And then I wanted to get into sales. Because both my parents were school teachers. And I knew they didn't make much money. In fact, when my dad was kind of healthy, he always had to work a summer job to supplement his income.
He was always struggling with, you guys were always struggling with money growing up.
Right. So I said, all right, well, I don't want to be a school teacher because they weren't paying much. Let me get into sales. So that's when I said, well, what do I know? And there were all these college graduates at that time.
Yeah.
I said, well, I know the wine and liquor and beer industry. So I networked myself talking to salespeople. And then eventually I got a job with a wine and liquor wholesaler. They put me in the merchandising display division. And then I got involved in sales. I was in sales for like 25 years. Unfortunately, I ended up getting laid off due to the economy and circumstances, and partially my fault. I mean, I got to own it. So I sold mattresses, which I hated.
Oh gosh!
I don't know if you ever heard of sleepers. You probably did because you're
I
from
hate
Connecticut.
going in to get a mattress because it's just brutal.
And you sit there all day, and you might have like 2-3 people come in all day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, well, you know what? I have like 30 plus years in the wine and liquor business. I have a college degree in business. What am I going to do with myself? Let me try to get back into the wine and liquor business. So I took a job being underemployed at a liquor store, at a big chain liquor store. I was basically a glorified clerk. So what happened was I was trying to get a job as a buyer or a manager in another store, and I ended up getting hurt. I had stepped off one of those little mini step ladders. They call them little giants.
Yeah.
So I had, unbeknownst to me, I had torn my Achilles. I didn't rupture it, but I had torn it. So I'm on the cement all these years, and I'm a big guy. I've gained, that's another story. I gained a lot of weight because of the injury, but that's another story. So anyway, so eventually I had to go out, workman's comp, and then it didn't really work out well, and then they denied my claim, and then I ended up ultimately filing for disability. So that's kind of how I got into reselling.
So that's how you found eBay, because you needed to.
I needed to do
supplement
something,
your
and
income.
I didn't have any money coming in because they denied my workman's comp claim because I didn't file it properly.
Wow.
Well, because I didn't claim it right away when I got hurt. Basically, I said after the fact, because I kept telling my manager, like, I need Sunday, Monday off because I got to be off my feet for 2 days.
Well, yeah, you're hurt.
And I'll go food shopping like Monday afternoon, but I need to basically be in bed on Sundays because I'm hurt. So anyway, so of course that's their job. Insurance companies deny your claim.
So workman's comp, nothing. And
Right.
then you filed for disability.
Right. I had to hire an attorney.
And you got that, or you didn't?
I did eventually, but for 8 months I had nothing coming in.
Okay.
Nothing.
And that disability, not to get too deep into your personal,
Mhm.
but the reason I'm bringing this up is because you said you speak to a lot of folks who are disabled and you help
Exactly.
them with eBay.
Right.
When you get on disability, is it enough to supplement, to help you to live your life and pay your bills, or is it typically something that falls short and requires you to go out and find more income?
Typically falls short. Now it's there's some kind of convoluted formula that the government uses, but I was earning relatively well income when I was selling wine and liquor.
Yeah.
Now when I worked retail, I was making a couple $, over minimum wage, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But the majority of my career was at a decent commission sales job. So it's based on how many whatever quarters out. I don't know how they figure it out, but it's based on how many years formula, and that's how they determine your disability benefit. So mine is okay. It's like in the top 80%. I mean, I could have been a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But mine is better than a lot of people.
Okay.
But it's barely enough to pay your bills, especially in the Northeast.
And knowing you as a person, you don't want to just get by. You want to be
Right.
able to have some of the
Right.
nicer things,
Exactly.
provide for your family.
And I'm single. So I'm the only one that's paying the bills.
Wow.
So it became difficult, and because when I was working retail, I was like living hand to mouth, so I didn't really have any extra money to like do improvements and repairs to the house. So my plans are to move down to Delaware because Delaware is sales tax free.
Yeah.
And it also has very low real estate property tax.
Yeah, a lot of businesses file.
That's why that it's so low, because they file and incorporate in Delaware. Because I was always I had an entrepreneurial spirit. I
Okay.
was involved in some small other businesses, and in fact, at one point, a friend of mine and I got involved in the alarm business. Because when I had bought my house, I had an alarm put in, and it's like, boy, that was easy for this guy. And he just sent a guy out. He did bing, bing, boom, and he's done like 2 hours. And he charged me this amount of money. So my entrepreneurial brain goes off.
Let me try this.
Let me try this.
Yeah.
And my friend was kind of handy, like mechanical. So we started a business, but I was working 2 jobs. I was working full-time at selling wine and liquor. I was working part-time at Acme Supermarkets as like a night manager, and I worked Saturday night crew. And then I was working with him as well. So it became, I said, I can't do 3 jobs.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's a multimillionaire now. He did very well. God bless him. He worked hard.
Yeah.
He built the business. But I always had that entrepreneurial spirit.
So from the time where you finally got approved, you hired a lawyer, you were collecting disability. How long, once you started collecting disability, did it take for you to find eBay? Because it was paying your bills, you were getting by.
Just a few months to find eBay. I mean,
Wow.
I started following you, and I told you how my mother was kind of like a single parent with my dad being sick. But my mother always taught me the value of getting deals and bargains. And in fact, she studied French was her language in college. So I don't know why I studied French. I wish I would have studied Spanish now if I would have known what I know. But I studied French too.
Okay.
So she used to call Marshalls, and she used to call Target, Target. So she taught me the value of shopping for like clothing. Like this is a $60 Izod shirt. I paid $12 for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I'm a thrifter, I mean, I'm looking for bargains. And when you don't have a lot of money coming in, you're on disability, you got to have to work those deals and those angles. And
So let me ask you, Adam, for the folks who are watching who are possibly disabled or going through the whole disability thing, trying to figure out what they're going to do in their next move, if they're going to get paid from that, if it's going to get approved. For the folks who are disabled, what are your thoughts? What would you say to them if they're thinking about possibly wanting to get started reselling? Because reselling, it's not only just selling on eBay, but you have to actively go out and source you're on your feet,
Right.
you're moving around, you're hustling. What would you say?
Well, see, that's part of the things, and that's what I try to teach people. Like I told you earlier, I do about 95% interviews on my channel.
Yeah.
I bring in experienced resellers from different genres, different niches, and I have them teach us and give us pro tips of how to do things and how to source and how to do RA and retail arbitrage and online arbitrage and how to source at thrift stores and how to source at garage sales. You're right. If people are disabled, it's difficult. So a lot of those people basically do online arbitrage, or they have help. Like I have a friend of mine that's had 2 strokes. He's 80% blind. So, and he can't drive, obviously. So
Really?
He, in fact, you know him, NASCAR man, 3345.
Okay.
He's going to go up to one of your meetups eventually because he's in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kept remembering to mention to it. It just came up in conversations. And let me
I'd
mention,
love to connect with him. That'd
Derek's
be
a good
awesome.
guy. He's 80% blind.
Shout out to Derek.
And he's like a toy geek freak. He knows Hot Wheels, Johnny Lightnings,
Yeah.
G.I. Joes. He knows all that stuff. He worked like in a store for a while that sold those type of things. And then he was a chef, and then he had 2 strokes, and then he lost 80% of his vision. So like he has to rely on people to help him go out. I mean, he has assisted with walking, and he can't drive. So some people have to do that. They have to rely on others to help them.
Do you have people helping you?
No.
No.
It's basically just me. The people that helped me were people like you, and Casey the Rockstar Flipper, and Craigslist Hunter, and all the big
All good
YouTubers
guys,
at
yeah.
that time. And then Chad Goldenfinger Picker. I learned from all them.
Yeah.
And then you kind of niche down and you decide what you want to do, and then you kind of follow different people. It'll be almost 3 years for me come November that I started doing this.
Cool. So let's transition a little over now that we have a good context of who you are and your backstory, which is really cool. Let's talk to people a little bit about your business and what you're currently doing on eBay, and we can kind of dive into it and share some tips and whatnot.
Okay, now with my business, I'm kind of like a smaller reseller. I try to do, my goal is ultimately to do a few $100 gross profit per week.
Okay.
Just to supplement my income. But I'm in that oversaturated used clothing. I mentioned to you earlier, I want to talk to like Casey and you and others and kind of like reformulate, redo my store basically and get more out of clothing. Because to me, with clothing, you're taking pictures.
Let's talk about it right now, man.
Sure. Well, you take pictures and then you're not happy with the pictures. And then you take more pictures and you got to take measurements and then you have to edit your pictures if you're not happy with them. So it takes time. So I've learned the value of your time. I learned that. I used to watch Jason Pro Sales as well.
Yeah.
Used to always talk the value of your time. So, and also, your selling price. I forgot what the acronym is. Whatever, you want to have a higher selling price.
ASP, yeah.
ASP, right. So you want to have a higher ASP. So it's better to sell, at least in my mind, collectibles, hard goods, higher priced items.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of moved to Amazon. Like, to be 100%
Right.
transparent with you and the viewers, I'm mostly all Amazon right now because of that time factor. For me, I travel all the time. I'm running different businesses. I'm not home. I don't have a warehouse space. So for me personally, it does take a lot more time and effort for me to sit down, go out, source these items, these one-off items, and list them up, photograph them, have to ship them out and whatnot. So right now, what I'm focusing on mostly is Amazon. So books, and another big thing I've been getting into is big wholesale bulk buys. And also I've been starting to move into, my next move is pallets and liquidation, like having big sources come to you. But I love Amazon. I'm not here to sell you guys on Amazon.
Right.
If you're an eBay seller, that's fine. But I love the fact that I source my products, I ship them off, and they're gone. I don't have to do anything else.
Well, I was a typical person when I first, Amazon's a 600-pound gorilla. So I was like, I should do Amazon. So then I purchased a course through Jim Conkrum, who's one of the super duper Amazon people out there. He has, in fact, Amazon is hiring Jim to do teaching programs or some kind of mentoring programs for him. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so I was intimidated. I was a typical person that was intimidated by Amazon. I started doing retail arbitrage. I wasn't finding things. I said, I don't know if Amazon's the answer
retail arbitrage is
for
like
me.
one of the hardest things for beginners to start. I honestly, I know Jim. I don't know him personally, but I wouldn't give the advice to start retail arbitrage.
Well, I'm not saying he did that, but
Okay, I don't know.
that was the impression that I kind of got.
I think retail arbitrage is one of the hardest things to
It
start.
is. And people say you should scan books like what you
That's
do.
why I always recommend books.
Right.
I don't know how old you are, but my mother, she's 65 years
Right.
old. I
Well,
got
I'm
her
a little
started
younger than your
5
mom,
years
but
ago.
yeah.
she profits. I was just looking at her numbers. She profits a little over $1,000 a month. Sometimes it's upwards of $2,000 a month just selling books.
And she does all FBA or she does merchant fulfillment?
All FBA. We started as a merchant 5 years ago, and within a couple months, we both realized this wasn't going to be a fit because you had to store all the items, pick all the items, pack all the items, ship all the items, deal with customer service, and they weren't selling as fast, and you were making less money at the end of the day, even though fees were less than FBA.
Right.
So books, I mean, again, I'm not here to sell you on Amazon and books. I don't have anything to sell, but I just feel like, for me personally, I love Amazon because I have all these workers working for me in the Amazon warehouse that I don't have to hire.
Right, and they handle the majority of the customer service. Occasionally, you'll get a phone call, but
yeah. But if you're gonna do eBay, you've got to recognize the time that it takes you.
Yes.
So
if I can maybe, like with my disability, I might not only be able to sit in a chair for 3 or 4 hours max at a time. So I can't, and then I maybe like thrifting. Like I tried doing the bins, the Goodwill outlets. I can't physically do the
But
bins.
it depends where you live. Like for me in Connecticut, the prices of clothing has been getting jacked up like crazy.
Well, it's happened to me.
Could I
in the
still make a
Northeast,
full-time income selling clothing? I could, but I would be hustling 40 to 60 hours a week.
Just sourcing.
Having to hunt all those things down. So I'm not disabled. I can't speak of that, but I could only imagine that if I was disabled and I had some issues moving around and stuff, like it would be probably nearly impossible to pick out those higher end clothing brands that were worth it.
Right.
Unless I had a warehouse space with like multiple people working for me who were photographing, listing, shipping, and doing all that because I'd be spending all my time sourcing.
Exactly, right.
That's why I might even look into some type of like liquidation or bulk buying of clothing, something like that, whether it's Amazon returns,
right?
Just to have it all come to you. So then you could just focus on the process, outsource it versus, I don't know, I just feel like as I start to advance and grow, I'm trying to tell people more and more, like, try to get away from like what everyone else is doing.
Well, used clothing is oversaturated. Like I said, like we talked about value of time. It takes amount of time to do a listing, especially with clothing. I take all these pictures.
But there's still so much money to be made with clothing, but you got to find the right
But
items.
I don't find Supreme, and I don't find all these brands.
Well, Supreme, I don't think I've ever found Supreme
right, but
either.
these people like in the Northwest, up, or near the Nike headquarters.
Where are you from again?
I'm from South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia, a couple miles east of
Okay.
Philadelphia.
I mean, I'm sure.
So I have the
probably got some good
typical
opportunities.
brands. I mean, I have the Targets and the Walmarts and back in the day the Kmarts and the Sears and the Pennies. That's the kind of clothes I find. The Gap.
Yeah.
Now, occasionally I'll find a pair of Levi's. When I first started, I was mostly women's jeans because I was the jean sellers, prop sales was selling jeans, and Lenny Glenn was selling jeans. So I was like, I could get it for $1 a pair, but no, I got like 80 pair of women's jeans that I'm sitting on.
Do you mess with garage sales at all?
A little bit, but like I was telling people, like that's what I'm doing. A lot of networking at eBay Open. And just talking to people at the garage sale, I mean, it was probably similar up in Connecticut, but our weather was so crazy in South Jersey. We had all that rain in April and May, and then June was okay for garage sales and yard sales, and July got so hot, and then people were going on vacations, they stopped doing them.
Yeah.
So you really only, at least in my area, you basically just had June for garage sales.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Connecticut, so I'm not too far away from you. So it is up and down, but there isn't a huge opportunity with garage sales all year long, like Texas and stuff. I just interviewed
Texas or Florida.
I just interviewed a guy named Harlan, and what he's doing is he's going to garage sales, thrift stores, and this might be a good opportunity for you or for anyone who's watching who's disabled as well. Is he's going out and sourcing these items, and then he's dropping them off at an auction.
I know Harlan. We're supposed to get together.
Yeah, and then the auction just sells them all and everything for him, and he just collects a check.
And he works like 60 hours a week at his full-time job.
It doesn't eliminate the problem of sourcing, which is
true.
If you're disabled or even if you're not, it's just such a time suck.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why I really think like online arbitrage is a great opportunity. I'm very active using a software called eFlip. Are you familiar with eFlip?
No, I'm not.
So eFlip is.
I don't think. Have you been to the exhibition center or they at down there? I don't think they were.
No, they're not over there. eFlip was created by my buddy Caleb Roth. He created Scout IQ. He's with the
Scout
book
IQ?
flipper
Right, sure,
community.
sure.
So eFlip is a software that allows you to filter Amazon.
Okay.
And essentially, what it does is it filters out books that you could buy off of merchants on Amazon for a low price and sell it for much higher on Amazon.
Right. Okay.
So there's actually some sellers out there who have done hundreds of thousands, and there's a couple who don't come out, but I've heard that have done like over $1 million a year just sourcing from Amazon merchants books and then flipping it FBA. I got my mom to do it as well. So if you're disabled and you're at home and you're looking at online arbitrage and books, but you don't have the time.
So you can purchase them online, have them delivered to your house.
Yes, but guess what? Can I tell you something even better? This is cool. You're gonna love this. especially if you're disabled, especially if you're traveling, if you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
So this is what you do. You can do this with online arbitrage. There's a software called Tactical Arbitrage.
Okay.
So that's a software to help you do online arbitrage like Walmart's, Target's, eFlips, online arbitrage on Amazon. You ever heard of prep centers?
Yes.
So what you do is you use eFlip, you find a profitable book, but instead of putting your address, which is probably in like a sales tax state,
You use one out of
use
Delaware or
a
a
prep
sales
center.
tax free state.
A prep
Right.
center. There's one I'm researching now for $1.50. You could ship it to them, sales tax free. They'll prep it, they'll inspect it, they'll price it, and these are Amazon sellers. They understand how to do it,
Sure.
and they'll even ship it to Amazon FBA for you for about $1.50.
I think there's like 6 or 7 states that are sales tax free.
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
So I know Delaware's like we had discussed
Yeah.
something about moving down to Delaware
How
because
cool
of
is
the cost
that?
of living. Right.
Like, and you could do that all from home on the
Right.
computer.
Right. No, that's a great idea.
So,
Especially for people that, like I said, are homebound or for whatever reason.
so these are things that I've been
Right.
actively doing. I'm going to be starting to do some videos on tactical arbitrage.
Okay.
So, I mean, thrifting is great, garage sales is great, but I mean, especially if you are disabled, that's kind of the theme. I don't
Right.
mean to keep throwing it out
No,
there,
that's
but
fine.
it's like,
I mean, a lot of my subscribers are disabled.
Yeah.
Whether it be physically, mental, or both. And I try to, like I said, I cater to intermediate and beginner, basically eBay sellers, and also Amazon sellers. I've had a few Amazon sellers on. And mainly, a lot of my followers are disabled because we're like kindred spirit. We're lonely and we have issues with, like you said, with sourcing.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I really can't do like the bins. I can't stand for hours at the bins. So that would be a perfect idea, like you said, to flip it.
So do you have any tips or anything that you'd like to share with the viewers to kind of help them with their eBay business? Anything that you found of value?
Well, what I like to do is, like I said, I mean, again, I'm trying to redo my business model. So what I like to tell people is you have to be careful when you first start. Like I said, because like you're my channel to beginners. Shipping is kind of hard to wrap your mind
It's
around.
a lot.
And when people first start in eBay, they don't understand that you have to purchase something, you have to weigh it, you have to put it in the package, you have to know what it's going to cost you to ship, because with eBay, they want you to offer free shipping typically. That's supposed to help you in the
And the
search
shipping's getting
rankings.
jacked up. USPS keeps
Exactly.
jacking
And
it
now
up.
there's zone shipping. First class postage is based on weight and zone.
Gosh.
And not all my customers, but a lot of my customers are from Texas
California.
and California.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm on the East Coast.
East
It
Coast,
seems
brother.
like 80% of my customers are from Texas and California. For whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then it costs you more to ship it. And then you put something, they tell you, well, put something on best offer on eBay so that people can make you offers. But then they offer you half price. And I messaged one guy back. I said, I had to purchase this item. It's brand new. I have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
I have to pay for packaging. I have to pay commissions. I would lose money if I sold it to you at that price. But that's a tip. Pirate Ship is another thing. And I want to get somebody on from Pirate Ship on my channel to discuss Pirate Ship because a lot of resellers
I've never
use Pirate
used it.
Ship.
I'm actually I would love to. Let me know who you find. 'Cause I would
Right.
interview
Well, I
them
know
too.
one person, yeah. But cubic shipping. I mean, because and then somehow you take a box and you pack it in a box and you wrap it in a poly bag and you get like a discount.
Huh.
And it's basically priority shipping.
Yeah.
But they give you this discounted price. If something's like a big box, or I don't think it's a big box, I think it's a small box that's heavy. You can ship it through Pirate Ship. And what's nice about Pirate Ship, and I've talked about Pirate Ship, you can use a rewards credit card with it as well.
Okay.
So you can tie that, again, that's a tip. You tie your credit card. You don't use PayPal. They won't take it. In fact, they don't want PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to set up a friend of mine with it. They don't accept PayPal.
Okay.
So you have to use a credit card. You can't even use your checking account, routing number. You have to use a credit card.
Okay.
So you use a rewards credit card. So you earn points or dollars or whatever through your rewards credit card. And you use your Pirate Ship. So you're saving money on shipping. And you don't have to be a top rated plus shipper because they offer you the discount even if you aren't a top rated plus shipper. Like eBay, basically you have to be a top rated or top rated plus to get the discount. Pirate Ship offers that same rate,
I've
commercial plus to everybody.
Yeah. Huh.
So that's a nice tip with the Pirate Ship. And again, talking about used women's clothing that I have, that's great to start out that way. Like everybody says, when you first start out, you look for things around your house to resell, and then you go to the thrift stores. But eventually, once you get used to the platform, you get used to the rules, you get used to shipping, you're used to sourcing, then you want to kind of mix it up. I remember when I was in college, they said, the only thing that is permanent is change. So you always got to be mixing things up and adapting. And I tell people, like with eBay's making all these changes. I just attended their opening ceremony, and Davin Wang was talking about all these changes they're making. They sound great, but like I tell people, if you're unhappy with eBay for whatever reason and their policies, either you go sell somewhere else or you follow their policies.
Yeah.
Because it's their basketball, it's their court. If you want to play, you got to play by their rules.
Sandbox.
Exactly, their sandbox.
Cool. Well, hey, Adam.
It's great
having you
we
here.
met last year, but it's great talking to you.
It's great to chat more. It was cool kind of just going back and forth, hearing your story, talking about some of your ups and downs and challenges. And, one of the themes that we were talking about is you always want to keep growing, keep trying new things out. If you're not happy with your results, there's always something either better or different you can be doing, something you can improve upon. And we talked about a lot of different things, from liquidation to online arbitrage to the garage sales to thrift stores. So, I mean, it's just really, it's up to you. It's up to you what direction you want to take it. But there's plenty of opportunities for growth. So if you guys want to learn more about Adam and his YouTube channel, check out his YouTube channel, Adam's Exploits. I'll put a little thing on the screen. But appreciate you having me here, brother. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, like I said, I basically gear that, and I'm like a drama-free zone. You guys probably see me in a lot of the chats. I'm moderating a lot of chats. And my parents were school teachers. My sister's a school teacher. So I get a lot of benefit personally out of teaching people how to resell and bringing the experts on. And like I tell people, what I'm trying to do is bring mostly on people that are more knowledgeable than me, teach me how to do things, and teach my subscribers how to do things. And again, you can watch, I do live typically every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. My show is called Reselling Rhythms. That's the name I came up with. And again, my Facebook group is Reselling Rhythms.
Awesome.
And I also have a Facebook page, a business Facebook page, which is Adam's Exploits. And I'm also Adam's Exploits on Instagram.
Awesome.
Or Insta, as they like to call it. The younger people like to call it.
So that being said, keep on picking and making that money.
Thanks, Steve.
And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I run across people that are so afraid to take that first step because, like you said, it is easy to get a defect and a negative and all that other good stuff. But you can't get a defect or negative if you don't take that first step.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, here with Teresa Cox. How you doing?
Awesome. How are you doing?
Great to have you here. Doing
Glad to be here.
fantastic. We're at the eBay Open in Las Vegas.
You got a great room with a great view.
Yeah, we'll show you guys what it's looking like, but we're staring at, we got MGM over there, Luxor. I'm not even sure what Luxor is. Is that a hotel?
Yes, some construction.
Yeah, we got the beautiful sight of the mountains in the background. But we're here at the eBay Open. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 things, and we might list a couple more things, but at least 5 things that you should know if you're just getting started with eBay, or even if you've been in the game for a little bit, because what you don't know can hurt you. And a lot of times people, they do something that they don't realize is against the rules, or they make a mistake and it turns out that they end up getting a negative feedback, or they could get suspended, or they could lose money. There's so many different things that could happen. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. But before we get into it, I know you guys are gonna love Teresa. She's helped me so much. She was actually in some of my old YouTube videos out back when I was out in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Doing some pawn shops.
That's my first and only experience doing pawn shops, because I realized it's not for me.
Yeah. And I don't really go to pawn shops anymore since Amazon gated everything off and stuff. But yeah, you probably recognize Teresa. But let's talk about some of these things. And again, I was going to say follow her. She has a Facebook group, which is
BOSS, Business for Online Selling Success, because it's all about the acronym.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, it's Numbers Geek, because I am a numbers geek.
All right, that's what I like. So I'm gonna leave some links down below. So be sure after this video to go follow and subscribe to those groups and to the Instagram. But let's start off with one thing that we were talking about before when it comes to starting an eBay business, and it's just do it. This is really simple, and you guys are probably thinking, oh, come on, you got something better than that. But we'll talk about this and explain why.
Yeah, so there's so much information, and I run across people that are so afraid to take that first step because, like you said, it is easy to get a defect and a negative and all that other good stuff. But you can't get a defect or negative if you don't take that first step. And so I just encourage people to take that first picture, do your first listing, ship your first item, and shipping is complicated. And so you don't need to know how to understand all the rules of shipping until you make your first sale. And so once you make your first sale, then there's groups and places you say, hey, I just sold this shirt. What's the best way to ship it? You'll get instantly in a poly mailer. Here's what you do, blah, blah, blah. And so you get started with the stuff you have around your house, take your pictures, get it listed, and worry about the rest as you go.
And that's another great point as well. A lot of people think that they have to go out and spend all this money and it's this huge investment and you have to go out to thrift stores and garage sales and source all that stuff. And that's another thing that you should know before you get started, that you can just start selling stuff around your house.
Yes.
And I know that you've actually, you've got quite a bit of experience selling stuff from around your house as well.
Yeah, so in 2016, which, I thought this was going to be a year project, but it is turning to a 3-year project. I had a huge house, 6 bedrooms and 3 baths. I lived in by myself. I know it was ridiculous.
You're a baller, Teresa. I didn't know. When I first met her, I was like...
It was a ridiculous expense for one person.
Yeah.
But I sold that. It was my oasis. It was my club red. I loved it. But I downsized, and I decided that rather than just dumping everything at Goodwill for everyone else to pick up and sell at eBay, I would sell my life on eBay. And so the idea was that I was going to take a year, and I thought I could sell all this stuff and generate $100,000 in income rather than go get a full-time job. Well, it doesn't happen that way. I mean, I moved 3 times in about 18 months, and every move, took longer to get set up and all that other good stuff. So I feel like this summer I'm really in it. I've almost got all my old work clothes listed. I've got almost all of my, clothing. I hate listing clothing done. And I'm anxious. When I get back, I'm going to start on my Christmas stuff. And I've got a lot of great Christmas items, so I'm going to get that going. So yeah, so 0 investment, 0 money for me to list and sell the stuff that I have from my house. Everybody has a gift closet with gifts that nobody's going to give, or clothes.
And a lot of people, this is another big mistake before you get started. Don't assume the value of something. Don't assume what somebody will buy, what something is worth, because you'd be amazed, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the things that you've sold or things that sell, and you're just like, what? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I am trying to think of something. Well, just my old work clothes. I'm like, nobody wants that suit that I wore for 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they'll pay $40, $50 for it. And you're like, I would get $1 for this at a garage sale. And so that's those kind of things. Or here's my favorite. So I started listing stuff out of my laundry room, just the little tchotchkes that you buy from Ross for $5 or $6. I sold a washboard for $39.99.
It's crazy.
I know I didn't pay more than $10 for it. And then my favorite was here's a bolo for you. I sold a Hidden Valley Ranch dressing plastic container with a green lid. I probably got it free with a package of dressing when I first moved out in the late 80s. And that thing sold for $35 instantly.
No way.
And then I sold the glass version for $50. That took a little longer to sell, but yeah, stuff you would never think of.
You've got to look things up. Matter of fact, I interviewed my good friend Mike Bugsby, and he has a YouTube channel, Unique Resells. He was at the Goodwill Bins, and he found a backpack there that was I think it was like a little harness backpack that was featured in one of these TV series, Smallville. And he looked it up on the sold listings, and nothing was showing up. There was one for sale for like $40 for sale. And then he typed it into Google, and he found a forum, and there was a person saying, I've been looking for this backpack for years and years. He dug a little deeper, went down a rabbit hole, and he ended up selling that thing for $850.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You would never know. He said it was the most boring, basic-looking backpack ever. There's a whole video on that, so I'll link that up down below. But it's crazy. Don't assume. Don't assume. What do people need to know about eBay before getting started when it comes to photography? We're here. We got Zach in the background. He's doing photography, videography. We got the mics. We got a whole studio set up. People are intimidated by pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
There's the eBay app. There's cell phones. Is it as complicated as people think, or what do they need to know?
In today's time, absolutely not. I mean, I started selling in '97. I had a point-and-shoot camera. I used the flash on it. I went to eBay Opens. I took Griff's class. It said, don't use flash. I didn't understand a camera. I didn't know how to do the white balance thing. I didn't want to learn. That was the thing. My pictures were fine. I was selling things. But here's the thing. In today's time, this is the best camera ever. I don't like to list on my phone. That's not my thing. But we take all our pictures. I have a second phone. Take all our pictures on that phone, upload it to Dropbox, and then we list from there.
And eBay, they just released this really new, cool feature. Maybe you want to share with the folks, because I was amazed when I heard about it.
Yeah, so in the session yesterday, they unveiled all sorts of awesome things that are in store for sellers. And one of them is the ability to, within the app, when you take a picture, remove all the background and do all the editing with like a touch of the button. They did a live demo and I was like, wow. And there's none of these extra apps that you have to do. And crisp white backgrounds, and it's going to be awesome. I'm looking. It's going to be about 2 weeks before they release it, but it'll be awesome.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so if you think about like an Amazon listing where it's that pure white background, that's what they're doing.
And you need that for Google search.
Yeah.
That's important for Google search.
Okay, cool. What else comes to mind when you're thinking about maybe back when you first got started, or maybe friends or people who are watching now? What holds people back? What do they need to know? What's something that we haven't talked about that people maybe it's a roadblock for them?
Yeah, so, again, you just start listing what you have, start listing what you know. When I got started, I was selling only red things. I mean, that's what I loved. And it's like, I would see a red dish drainer and I would buy it. And I would see a red garden hose. Like, nobody has a red garden hose, but somebody needed it.
Yeah.
And
I love the color red.
And so that's my thing, hence Club Red 97.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody has a passion for something, or everybody has a knowledge of something. And so if you were let's say you worked in the record industry, you have that knowledge. Let's say you worked in the restaurant industry, you have something about the restaurant industry that people want. Like, there's knowledge is everywhere. And so you don't need to go out and do what I'm doing, what you're doing. Do what you know and what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I always say we all have a special gift and we all have a specialized knowledge, right? Something that we were really excited about. Maybe for you, that's baseball cards. Maybe you were a collector and, baseball cards aren't the best things to resell anymore. But if you find older vintage ones, like, they can make good money. But we all have something, a specialized knowledge. I would recommend, and I don't know what your thoughts are, studying the eBay sold listings.
Absolutely. Dig in there. If you don't have that passion and you're just looking for something that you want to see, well, maybe you have a lot of passions and you want to narrow it down to one or two that you want to start with. eBay sold is the best way to go to start to get an idea of where to start with that.
See what the market's already selling and go and kind of reverse engineer it. What do people need to know about finding products to resell on eBay? Is it easy? Is it hard? In 2019, this video is 2019 updated. We're at the eBay Open. Teresa, you've been selling for how long now?
Today's Thursday. Tomorrow I will hit 23 years.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
July of 97. So I will have just finished my 22nd year
So
tomorrow.
You've seen it all. Can I ask you a crazy question?
Uh-huh.
Were there thrift stores 23 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah?
But let me just tell you, I'm not a thrifter.
Oh, okay.
I don't buy
I just wish I knew what it was like.
So in 97, I actually have a blog post about this because I did eBay now and then.
Yeah.
And what was I selling? I worked in a university and we started selling old Next computers because we had a warehouse full of them.
Oh, wow.
And we needed to get rid of them. And so we started selling that. And then I just started selling, like I said, red things. I would go to Ross and I would see red pepper shakers. I'm like, I love these. Somebody else would want them. And I would see red KitchenAid stuff, whatever. But back in the day, we didn't have PayPal. We didn't have online postage.
Money orders.
You would have to, this is crazy. You would buy from me. I would say, give me your zip code. I would package the item up, go to the post office, ask them, how much is it going to cost me to ship this to this zip code? And then I would come back home. I'd message you how much it would cost. God. You would send me if you wanted it fast, you would send me a money order. When I got that, then I would drop the package in the mail, and if you got it in 30 days, you were happy.
How did anybody, how nowadays there's big eBay sellers out there who are selling thousands of items per day.
Yeah.
Thousands. And there's plenty selling 20, 40, 50. Let's just say over here, there's full-time sellers who are on a consistent basis selling 10 to 20 to 30 items a day. There's probably hundreds of them. How could you even do that back then?
You couldn't. There were no huge sellers back then.
Really?
Yeah. And so, the big transformation back then was when we had PayPal.
When did they come out?
99, 2000. Okay. I think my PayPal account I created in 2000.
It was buggy though, I bet, at first.
Well, we were cautious about putting our credit cards into this.
I remember that.
Ether.
Yeah.
It's like, how you did it. And it's funny because I remember I joined PayPal because somebody was selling an app for the my BlackBerry at the time.
Oh my gosh!
And I remember it was a BlackBerry, but I still have my Pilot 5. But
what's a Pilot 5?
What's a Pilot 5? Come on, I'm aging myself.
I'm sorry.
But they said if you buy this app for $5 and sign up for PayPal, PayPal will give you a $5 credit. I'm like, I'll do that because then my app's free.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I got my PayPal account. They were giving money away to join at the time.
That's crazy. PayPal's still around. I thought they were getting phased out of eBay.
So PayPal PayPal, again, misinformation, but I am part of the PayPal Managed Payment Program.
Oh, okay.
And so the rumor mill was that because PayPal wasn't in the initial part of the Managed Payment Program, people thought they were phasing it out. It is now part of the payment plan, and if you buy on eBay from any
PayPal.
seller, PayPal. But
I didn't want to learn anything new. I enjoyed it.
But think about it. The newbies, the young kids, don't want to have to go sign up for PayPal because they want to buy, this book or whatever from you. So I saw my sales spike in Q4 with new sellers, and I define new sellers anybody that had a feedback of under 10.
Okay.
And it spiked about 40%.
Wow.
40% of my sales in Q4 were from what I called new sellers.
Awesome.
New buyers. I'm sorry.
And last question I'd have to you, what would you say to the folks out there who want to get started, but they're like, I'm working a job, I don't have time to do it, or maybe they have some type of limiting belief, it's not possible for me to do it, I don't think that I can make money doing it. And obviously we're here at the eBay Open, and there's thousands of people who are making money with it. What would you say?
I would say that if you're talking to somebody that says, I don't have any time, I don't have any money, I don't have this, they're not the ones, they're not going to sell. The one, I'm saying that kind of jokingly, but it doesn't take that long to create your first listing. And if it's something that you want to try, you're going to make time. You're going to make time after dinner at 8 o'clock at night, or when the kids go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, or when you get home from the graveyard shift at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're just going to make time, and you're going to not watch TV, whatever. Once you make that first big sale, you're hooked, and that's all you got to do. And then the other thing I tell people is, if you're a new seller, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
Because
patience, the key word.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen. If you list something and it doesn't sell in 3 days or a week, you can't get discouraged. It takes some time.
Sometimes things just get slow.
Yeah.
You've got to consistently list. You've got to, what we call, feed the beast.
Feed the beast.
Keep listing, keep learning. For example, I talked about this in another video. I had a friend of mine who 3 or 4 years ago, his name is Vinny. He used to work for me, so he used to do photography, listing, all that, and he kind of had the employee mindset. He didn't really have the entrepreneur mindset. Well, fast forward, he started his eBay business about 2 years ago, and we've been doing a whole bunch of videos with him. I'll put a picture of a video down below on this video, but he's done over $8,500 in the last 60 days selling toys on eBay while he works a full-time job. And now he's getting to the point where he's earning enough to where he's able to make that decision if he wants to quit or not. So it's just cool because he had that limiting belief before, and he was struggling. His sales were slow. He used to call me angry and this and that. But you got to be patient and work through it, and you can get to the other side.
Yeah, I did this part-time for 15 years.
Yeah.
I was making about $800 to $1,000 a month. And
that's great, though.
That was my play money. That was my play money. And then I just said, I'm all in.
Yeah, and now you got the eBay shoes on, so you're
I got my
100%
eBay.
official.
Guess where I got these?
Where?
On eBay.
Oh, really?
I bought them on eBay.
So hopefully you guys learned some cool tips in this video. If you guys are wanting to get started with eBay, or you're just learning, or maybe you're just not sure if this is going to work, hopefully we were able to kind of push aside some of those roadblocks. So Teresa, thank you so much for coming on. Again, where can people follow you? You have a blog, right?
My blog is outdated.
Oh,
so
it is.
I have a blog with information, but I don't have any new information on it.
Okay, well, send people to where you want them to go. Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook group, Boss, Business for Online Selling Success, and Instagram at Numbers Geek.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks again for watching. And with that being said, keep up big and making that money. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
And the majority of them are coming from promoted listings.
Like, what does the majority mean?
Percentage-wise?
Yeah.
I'd say easily 75%.
75% of your sales are coming from promoted?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video. We're here at the eBay Open with the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Joe DeMarco. What's going on, brother?
Thanks, Steve, for having me up here.
Absolutely, man. And you have a YouTube channel, which is?
Crazy NY Driver.
Awesome.
And it's spelled CRAZEE, NY Driver.
Cool. So we have Joe on the channel today. And what's cool is about 1 year ago exact, almost, give or take a couple weeks or so, Joe was on the channel and we were talking about all different types of things, eBay loopholes, crazy little scams that Chinese sellers were running. I don't even remember exactly what we were talking about, but I'll put some links down below. But it was some good stuff. But people really loved having you on the channel, man. And I had to bring you back because you told me just a couple minutes ago that your business has been growing. You run an eBay business where you sell hubcaps, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that it? Only hubcaps?
On eBay, I sell mainly hubcaps, but I do sell other automobilia. Anything I come across, like collector license plates, taillights, wheels,
Yeah.
that stuff.
That's cool. I think I sent you a picture from Savers like 8 months ago. There was like a whole bunch of hubcaps that were into Savers. I knew nothing about it. I don't remember. Were they anything good? I don't know if you were.
No, they were mainly older ones that looked like they were damaged.
Yeah. So that's a niche that I find very interesting. I don't know much at all about hubcaps and stuff. And I bet you a lot of people pass them up. They don't buy them because they believe that there's no value in them. And you buy and sell them full time, right?
Correct. I buy and sell them in bulk. I like buying at least 100 a piece, specifically from dealers or tradespeople. I don't like buying off the public for 2 reasons.
Yeah, I was going to ask why.
1, they could be stolen.
Okay.
And number 2 is there are those people that will think that they have gold. And they'll come into my store and they'll say, I have 4 of these hubcaps and I just saw them on eBay for $100.
Yeah.
Give me 75.
It's going to cost you $40 to ship probably.
I'll say, I have a better idea. Why don't you list them on eBay and get the $100? And they'll say right to my face, I don't want to do any work.
But they want to get 80% of the profit.
Exactly. They're lazy.
Yeah.
And they're gluttonous.
Yeah. So sometimes it is good to just deal with B2B, business to business, right? Because they understand how business works and whatnot.
Sure.
So, well, that's cool, man. Today we're going to talk about specifically, and we were talking before about how your hubcap business has been growing on eBay, and you've actually been utilizing a couple various strategies. Do you mind sharing what you've been doing? What's new in Joe's world with the hubcap business and what you've been doing to make some extra money?
I'd be happy to share with you, Steve. The first thing to do is always keep some money in reserve, just in case a good deal comes along. Recently, I had the option to buy a large amount of hubcaps and hardware. Hardware meaning locks and keys and stuff like that. But the deal was I had to buy everything. And it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I damn near drained out the Hubcap Joe account. But I knew, above anything, I would at least quadruple my money. So I went and did it.
You couldn't pass up on this opportunity.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, isn't that the worst? I don't know if you've ever been in that situation when a great deal comes by and you don't have the space or you don't have the money. Actually, my friend the other day, he's in the toy business. He came across, he sells all used toys from thrift stores and stuff. But he doesn't have a ton of money saved up right now. He's just kind of getting his business finally flowing. And there was a deal that came by and I think it was like $5,000 or so, but he just didn't have the money. He didn't have the time to do it. So
that's a shame.
Yeah, you've got to be prepared. Sometimes these opportunities come by and it's like, if you don't jump on it, you may never get that chance again.
You got to keep your powder dry.
Yeah.
Stay out of that casino down there.
Yeah, we're in Vegas right now at the eBay Open 2019, and I see quite a few resellers gambling, but I could probably guess 80% of them are losing.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I didn't see too many of our people gambling. I saw a couple of my friends last night playing the penny machine.
Yeah.
And one hit for 2,000 coins, a whopping $20.
Yeah. Do you think that reselling on eBay or selling hubcaps is similar to gambling?
Not at all.
Why?
Gambling, there is no sure thing. If you're selling something on eBay, hopefully you know your niche and you know your market. There's certain things 100% will always sell.
Okay.
Guaranteed. There are some things that may sell.
Yeah.
But I try and buy only the hot numbers.
And you can do your research in advance. So if you're selling on eBay, go through the sold listings, see what the market's doing, get a feel for it. And a lot of times after a couple of years, you've got that experience. You don't even have to look at the sold listings. You know.
Right. I know exactly by the cars on the road and what's in demand.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Now, do you mind sharing with people what we were talking about before? You were telling me a little bit about promoted listings and sales, and you were doing a couple different things there in your business to kind of boost sales. And do you mind sharing to help people?
Not at all. First thing was, as I said, recently I made a big purchase. 2 big U-Haul trucks full of merchandise.
2 big U-Hauls?
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Wow.
So finally I was able to get everything unloaded and stashed away. And I decided I had to start some listings. Now, listings for me are the most tedious process selling on eBay. So what I did was I decided to commit to listing at least 5 to 10 items per day.
Every day?
Yeah, except for this week because I'm down here.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
I love it.
Then what I did was I decided to run some promotions on eBay. First, I use Markdown Manager, and I run 3 or 4 different sales ranging from 10 to 20% off on each item. And that really does help stimulate sales because people will see the little strike through on the original price.
Oh, yeah.
So it's maybe $100 normal price,
Yeah.
20% off, strike through $80.
That creates urgency because those sales aren't going to last forever.
Correct. And in addition, I've opted into promoted listings, and I promote almost every one of my items 1%. The reason it's just 1% is to get your items seen twice. The regular listing and the promoted listing.
Oh.
So whether you bid 1% or 20%, your listing is only going to be shown twice.
But if you only have a 1% promoted listing, isn't it a bidding system? If somebody is at 2 or 3%, they're going to get that spot over you if it's a similar item?
That's correct. If they bid more, they will get better exposure.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. But the thing is, not too many people have the items that I have. There's plenty of people selling hubcaps.
That's a very niche down market. It's not like you're selling Ralph Lauren dress shirts where there might be 15 to 1,500 sellers of the same item.
Correct. If somebody out in California...
That's smart. I get it. I get it now.
If somebody out in California has a 57 Chevy,
yeah,
how many people are going to be able to supply him with hubcaps?
Yeah. Not many.
Joe could.
Do you typically have a lot of those in stock?
No, because I get them, and those are the things that are harder to get.
Yeah.
And they will sell.
Okay.
I don't care if it takes 1 month, 6 months, 8 months, they're going to sell.
So when people are just getting started with promoted listings, and it's funny that we're talking about this now, and depending on when this video releases, you may or may not have already seen it, but we had Teresa Cox. She was actually sitting right in this spot. This might be still a little warm. She was in this spot about 15 minutes ago, and she was talking about boosting sales by combining running a sale with promoted listings. So it's cool that you said that you're doing that. You're doing that on all your listings.
Correct. I have right now approximately 1,400 items listed. And every one but maybe a handful are promoted in some way.
Wow. Can you share how many of your sales are typically coming organically versus promoted? Because I know that the promoted listings, they have some pretty good analytics. Will actually show you at the bottom if it came from a promoted sale, and I think there's some other reports too.
That's true. I checked my stats just the other night, and the majority of them are coming from promoted listings.
Like, what does the majority mean?
Percentage-wise?
Yeah.
I'd say easily 75%.
75% of your sales are coming from promoted?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why I guarantee that he's got such a higher percentage? And Teresa, she's well connected. She talks to a lot of sellers. She said the average seller is like maybe around 20 to 30%, and then some are up to 50%. But I bet you that a lot of them, most sellers are 20 to 30% because they're selling clothes, shoes that are like super abundant, whereas you're so niche down. Think about it. If someone types in, I want a 1957 hubcap, whatever brand, there's not going to be a ton of sellers. You're going to be at the top. You probably don't have a lot of competition for sponsored ads. So I could see why yours would be so high. It makes sense.
That's true, but let's say the average seller has 500 items listed. He doesn't have every one of those in promoted listings.
Yeah.
Maybe he has only 200.
Yeah.
I have almost all.
Yeah. And that's cool. And if you guys aren't sure what promoted listings are, essentially that's eBay's way. It's kind of like PPC, which is pay-per-click, but instead of it pay-per-click, it's PPS, pay-per-sale, because you don't pay the percentage until that promoted listing actually sells.
Correct.
So it's like, it's the greatest thing ever. Why aren't more sellers promoting all their listings?
It's really a no-brainer.
I don't talk to a lot of sellers who are using it.
I don't know why.
It's weird.
It is. But that's why I'm making the sales, and some of them aren't.
That's cool. Before we end this video, Joe, and if you guys aren't subscribed to Joe, come on now. That's a no-brainer. Sponsored ads, no-brainer. Subscribe to Joe, that's a no-brainer. He's got some great content. One of the OGs in the reselling game on YouTube. Share with folks maybe one more tip that you can give for kind of like boosting sales.
I ship very quickly. My handling time is 1 day.
1 day handling time.
I could easily ship same day, and I really would like to, but the reason I try not to is because many times a person will buy an item from me, let's say 9 in the morning. I could easily ship that right out.
Sure.
But I get these cancellations.
Really?
So if I shipped it at 9:30 and he cancels at 10 or wants to cancel at 10, we got a situation.
So now you're gonna have to figure out who's paying for shipping,
Right.
who's returning it back.
Exactly. A lot. I get cancellations. I'll take 3 a week.
3 a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes they don't read the listing accurately,
Yeah.
and then they hit that buy button.
Yeah. Interesting. So definitely consider shipping faster. But again, if you're really niche down or you're selling hubcaps like Joe, be careful with that because there are some logistical issues that can come about if you're shipping same day. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow Joe on YouTube. Is there anywhere else people can follow you or connect with you?
As far as social media is concerned, YouTube is my home base.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll definitely put a little picture on the screen of Joe's YouTube. So subscribe. And we're going to shoot one more video for you guys. So with that being said, keep on picking and making that money. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
It really with zero investment. I just would take a little cash on the weekend and go to yard sales and whatnot. And I guess someone told me early on, reinvest whatever you can. And that's really how I grew it. It wasn't like
reinvest back into more products?
Yes. So you take a little money to live on, but I just kind of kept going and going and going and going to build the inventory.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another video. We're here in beautiful Las Vegas, and I'm here with Nanette. How you enjoying Vegas so far?
Oh, this has been a really great trip.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you're from Los Angeles, so you're already used to beautiful views and whatnot, so this might not be as amazing to you, but I don't know, us Connecticut boys here are just freaking out.
Oh, it's impressive to me too. You have an awesome room, and I didn't even realize you were so close. We're so close to the airport like this.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a private airport right there. But anyways, Nanette, you've been selling on eBay for how long now?
Well, I started on eBay in '97. I started selling around 2000, and then I quit my day job in 2002.
Holy mackerel!
Yes.
So you've been in the game for a while. I remember, I think eBay a long time ago. When was eBay? It had a different name. Wasn't it called like auction?
Auction Web. I think that was 95.
95. So you were a little after that.
Right.
But you're an OG to the game.
Pretty much.
That's cool.
Yep.
So a lot of people who are watching right now are probably just getting started with eBay and they're just learning about it. And you have a lot of experience. You've been selling for many, many years. So we're gonna probably drop some tips and knowledge for you folks. But do you mind sharing kind of how did you find out about this crazy eBay game and how did you get started?
Okay, well, my background is a little different. Everyone has such unique backgrounds.
Yeah.
I know people with everything from GED, advanced degrees. So what I was doing, I was practicing law. So really different. Yeah.
Okay.
In the 90s, and I was in LA. I moved to LA, and I really had sort of nothing. So a friend's mom told me to go to auctions just to get basic furniture like a couch, a table.
Where they're like auctioning off and they're speaking all crazy?
Yeah, kind of like that. But they have county ones where they get all the estates. So anyone who dies in LA without a will, their property goes to the county. And so I started to go to these, and I found it fascinating.
So there's county auctions.
They're county auctions.
Nanette's dropping knowledge already and doesn't even know it. County auctions. I gotta be on the lookout for those.
County auctions can be an amazing resource, really, because it's not picked through. It's just whatever was in that person's property. Yeah. It could be anything. But anyway, I found it so fascinating between, the patter, the dollar auction and what they're selling.
Yeah.
And so I bought my practical things, but I started to look at sort of the antique collectible things, and I got sucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was practicing law. I actually took a class at UCLA Extension that was about sort of collectibles, and then I started with a friend at the law firm where we did like a very hobby business of selling stuff at swap meets and in antique malls.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. So you started dabbling a little bit, learning, you're practicing law, you're learning about these items and whatnot. And I'm assuming these things started to sell, you started to make some money?
They started to sell. So then, I guess 95, eBay starts. I got married at the very end of the year, moved to Georgia with my husband because he was doing engineering, wanted to get into sales. That was a territory. So I was doing sort of contract law work, which is when you just get a gig sort of with a different company. And
like a one-off.
Yeah, and there's a really vibrant sort of antiques and collectible scenes in Atlanta. It's very big. So I started doing that. And then around 97, I guess I found out about eBay, but it was an infant. It was, I don't even remember if there were pictures, honestly.
That was back in the when you sold something, you had to send out like a money order, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember when there was a lot of resistance to PayPal. Like PayPal was new.
Teresa Cox, she was just sitting here maybe an hour ago, and she was telling me about all the crazy PayPal stores. People were scared of it. People, they didn't want to put in their credit card. They thought they were going to get hacked or scammed.
So that was back then. So that was 97, just dabbling, mostly buying. I started selling a bit. And then by 2002, I had probably a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. I was practicing law, but I did litigation, which is when you sue people, that kind of law. So I had cases based in LA, like in San Diego County and Ventura County. I mean, it's big. The court appearances were always 8:30 in the morning. And just like, it started to get to where juggling all of these pieces was a lot.
Yeah, sure.
And my daughter was about to start kindergarten. We wanted to do this school that had a parent participation thing. And other parents are like, you can do it. You can get like a second nanny. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to try this eBay thing. I think I was selling maybe $2,000 a month at the time, which was
solid though.
It was solid enough that I knew I could build on it.
Yeah. You had that proof of concept. A lot of times people, they give up and quit because they're listing items that, first of all, don't have a market. You did your research, you took that class, you were going out to the auctions. But once you start to get a taste of it, you know it works, and you think in the back of your mind, if I'm willing to put in more time, I know I could scale it. So you were kind of at that point, it seems like.
That is exactly where I was, right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So you're starting to get a taste of that success. You're practicing law. What's next? This is what, 2002?
So 2002, I went sort of the kind of part-time, full-time, I called it eBay. So I was doing the volunteer hours at school. And I think over the course, I did maybe like, I don't know, 1,500 or 2,000 volunteer hours at school, which was great because the friends the kid made now are still their friends and, you know, a really solid basis. But I sort of slowly built up eBay on the side. And around 2008, 2009, when the economy had that big dip, it was a fantastic time for buying. It's sort of counter-cyclical. So a lot of companies had too much inventory or small boutique companies went out of business. So I was able to buy so well then that I eventually had so much stuff. I moved out of my garage. I rented a warehouse space. And that was kind of like a big bump that took me to the next level.
You know, on the Raiken Profit channel, we've done like 2,000 videos. I've never talked to somebody about what it was like going through that 2007, 8, 9 downturn when the real estate crisis and people were losing jobs, the stock market dropped out, people had lost everything in their 401ks. My question for you, Nanette, were people still buying? How were your sales in 2007, 8, 9 when ish was hitting the fan?
Yeah, I guess it's funny because you think who was buying it, but my sales increase. I
think,
way. Yeah, I really find for me on eBay, the better your inventory, the better your sales. And it seems like people who really want to buy will buy. At the time, there was a doll shop that went out of business in the Valley in LA, and the doll collectors, I got all this stuff. That's really what forced me out of my garage. But they would say, okay, I really want this thing.
Yeah.
Can you wait until my disability payment next week? Or can you wait until my paycheck? Like, they're so passionate about adding to these collections that they will just find a way.
Wow. Do you think that eBay is, what's the right word? What happened? The economy was like a downturn. Do you think it's like... do you think if it ever happens again where the economy goes down or like things start going wrong, like eBay's kind of like proof to that, or what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to.
I don't know. I do think there's sort of like a counter cycle, like the economy's up, and I don't know. But
that's interesting though.
It's interesting
because people were struggling to make money at the time, and you were growing and expanding.
No, it was a big opportunity for me and other sellers. That were back in the game then too. They say the same thing.
So you were expanding. Did you let the law practice drop off a little bit at that time?
Well, I had stopped already, so I stopped practicing law.
So you had stopped practicing. Okay.
So I was pretty much kind of full time from my house.
You're full time. Wow.
But then I was really full time by then.
Yeah. Are you full time now?
Yeah. So I've been in that same place I rented then for 10 years. The lease actually comes up July 31st.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is I'm moving again. Like within all that time, I was at one point sort of half Amazon, half eBay, getting pallets
I didn't know you did. No way.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually getting into pallets right now too, and liquidation and stuff. So that's interesting.
Okay, well, I'm getting out of pallets.
You're getting...
it's.
We might have to send me some contacts.
I know, really. But so I was looking for a smaller space, so I'm moving, actually get the keys tomorrow to a 1920s sort of storefront in a more kind of transitional part of the town.
Interesting.
It's artsy. It's like more art galleries and vintage stores. So we'll see. It's another big adventure.
Wow. So I need you guys to do me a favor. Smash that like button right now if you guys think that's inspiring so far, because we're still going through your story, but You came a long way.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
Started really with zero investment. You know, I just would take a little cash on the weekend and go to yard sales and whatnot. And I guess someone told me early on, reinvest whatever you can. And that's really how I grew it. It wasn't like
reinvest back into more products?
Yes. So like, you know, you take a little money to live on, but I just kind of kept going and going and going and going to build the inventory.
There's a lot of people who want to start an eBay business. They want to start making money. Some of them are maybe in your or in your similar shoes back in 97, 2002.
Right.
They're working and they want to quit, or some people, they don't have a job and they're trying to start an eBay business. From your experience over the last 20 years or so, what advice could you give to people who want to start an eBay business but just feel stuck or don't know how to get started?
Well, there's so much information now. It's, I think, a different ballgame from then. Like, watch these guys on YouTube, watch people who know how to sell, and you can learn the mechanics. I think the mechanics now are pretty accessible, listing, but I think your point too, you know, just maybe start with things around your house, get going, get the kind of the nitty gritty down, and then figure out what you really want to sell. I think if you're interested in something like sports cards,
passion,
you know, that's easier to learn. But for me, I consider myself a generalist. I do a lot of categories, and that's helped me. I wouldn't say starting out maybe do that. I would say pick a few areas that you can really kind of drill down, figure out what to sell. But I also think you have to hit that critical mass before, if you have a job. Like, be careful when you jump off. Like, for me, I had paid off all my student loans.
Yeah.
What
if you're
else?
in debt, that's a whole different story. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was sort of strategic timing. But I think for anyone starting, like, think about the timing, think about your bills, and be
because
practical.
you're going to definitely, like, when you're working a job, you've got that reliable income. Of course, you can get fired. That could happen.
Right.
But you've got that reliable income. Whereas with eBay or Amazon, it's not reliable. Sometimes it's going to be high. Sometimes it's going to be low. Sometimes you're going to get those big refunds.
Right.
Maybe you can get a suspension for selling something on eBay that you shouldn't have, or Amazon, you can get a like an intellectual property suit or whatever against you, or a claim, whatever it's called. Like, so it's good, like you said, to make sure before you quit. I always recommend that make sure you're able to pay all your expenses and your bills easily, and that you have like a nest egg and some padding, because again,
yeah, I think that's super smart.
Murphy's Law. Something, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong, or something along those lines, right?
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And I also, I work really hard at keeping my sales as consistent as I can.
How do you keep it consistent? Listing consistently?
Listing consistently is a huge part. So I try to keep my listings at a number, but also I know how what I want to sell every month breaks down by sort of week and by day. And if you fall behind, and of course you do, or, ahead, just things fluctuate, I use the eBay tool. So I do promotions manager and promotions, but I look at it not obsessively, but sort of on a day-by-day level. And I'm like, okay, 2 low days, I got to run a sale on some category that maybe I'm heavy in and bump it up.
So I just interviewed Joe DeMarco, big hubcap motor category seller. He's been doing that for 14 years. Teresa Cox, she's been selling for over 20-something years now. And they all said, make sure that you have sponsored ads running on all your products. Are you following that same method?
I do have it on. I usually kind of give it a week. Like, say I list something new, I might not put it on right away, because if it's a fantastic item, especially in the collectibles area, or maybe some kind of clothing.
You're just giving away free money, essentially, because you know you'll get that sale.
Yeah,
you got the experience.
Yeah, give it a week, and then after a week, I do kind of bulk campaigns, and just from different Facebook groups. At first, I was doing the trending rates, but trending rates in certain categories.
And we were talking about that too.
They can go up 19%. I'm like,
really? Because Teresa, she only saw up to like 11%. 19 you've seen?
Yeah, like the jewelry categories, some things like that. So I have been doing sort of maybe 1.5% to 4%, which is always sort of under trending. It's enough to help. I mean, I think maybe around the holidays I might be more aggressive.
Yeah. My friend, he's in the toys category, sells a lot of used toys. Would you recommend trending, or?
If you want more sales, trending, but just look at the numbers. Like, for me, it doesn't make sense to.
Depends on your margins too.
Yes.
Okay.
So just do the math. I would say.
Let me ask you a question. Hopefully this doesn't catch you off guard.
Okay.
But we all make mistakes. Like, I've done so many stupid things selling on eBay. I remember there was this one time where I shipped out 3 things to like 3 different like it all just got mixed up. They were all Brooks Brothers items. I sold all these Brooks Brothers items, and I shipped out the wrong one to every single person. I don't know how I did it. And we all make mistakes. Is there any big mistakes that you've made, or maybe something that people need to kind of look out
Beware.
for?
Well, first of all, I think I've made every mistake. So I have, especially in the summer, I have some college students that do, like, my son is doing the shipping, and I've had some different women do the shipping, and I tell them the pitfalls and say, I've done all these, like the switching the labels. If you print your labels in bulk, like if you do eBay labels and you get a whole stack, it's very, very easy at the last minute to switch labels. It's so expensive. People can get really mad. So that's a very classic blunder.
So be careful shipping.
Yeah. And then another thing, too, is if you sell things in multiples, it's very easy to miss that someone ordered 2 or 3. I've done that one. I've done that one recently.
So how do you be careful? Like, how do you fix that problem?
Pay attention. Pay attention.
Try not to be multitasking too many things at once.
Right. And so... So now for a new person, the way my son does it, he's not new, but he does one by one by one by one. It takes a little longer, but no mistakes.
Okay. And real quick, I wanted to ask you, what type of liquidation were you doing, like pallets and stuff?
So do you know the ASD trade show that's in town?
Yes, of course. I've been there, yeah.
That's where I got most of my vendors, and there are a lot of...
it was like Amazon returns or something?
Yeah, but they're Amazon returns, but the ones I was really interested in, since I had this doll thing going, were the ones that get like the overstock. So there's a whole section for overstock at ASD.
Yeah.
Like ASD is broken up into, there's kind of gift below.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah.
So much going on over at ASD.
Yeah. So say Target orders like 20,000 of a certain Barbie, and then they cancel 5,000 units. These liquidators get them, and then it depends. Sometimes they want to sell the entire thing, and sometimes they'll piece it out, and you can get cases.
Okay.
And then you have to kind of build it into a pallet to ship from wherever it's shipping because it's expensive.
Okay. Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess my last question for you is, where do you kind of see your eBay business going? Like, do you have any goals? Anything maybe to inspire some of the people who are watching? Because they're probably watching now like, wow, Nanette's come so far. That's awesome. What's next? What is she going to do?
Well, I guess I do want to kind of explore the space I'm in. I'm going to just operate online, but I'm going to keep my eyes open to see if I think I can add a little retail component.
Okay.
And then even at this Open, like you learn so much at eBay Open, someone approached me. She's in antiques and art, a category manager, and she was just suggesting Los Angeles-based artists that have shows, and they'll issue art that sells really well. And she's like, you should just get on their social media, figure out when they're having their shows. She's like, you'll have to line up. I'm used to lining up. You know, for estate sales, you line up like crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
But I thought, how great would that be if I could expand into maybe sort of more expensive, really desirable things with some guidance? Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's been awesome having you
so
on the video, and I know you've been following my channel for a little bit
yes,
as well.
I'm a fan.
So it's great to have you here. We also have our friend Liz here, who's behind the scenes. Maybe Zach got a little GoPro action, but she lost her voice. We wish we could have Liz here, but we're going to put Liz's Instagram down below. Also, do you have any...
I do have an Instagram, so I'm just nzupon. And,
text it or message it over to me, and I'll put it all in the description for you guys as well. But Liz, great to have you here. I know you guys can't see her. Yeah, she. If you hear somebody whispering, she's yelling at the top of her lungs. But Nanette, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story with the Raiken Profit family, and hopefully it helped and inspired you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Links to their Instagram down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.